Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to start our program shortly. Would request you all to please take your seats. Thank you.
Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished gentlemen and ladies with us. We welcome you all today to a very prestigious program, the launching of the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry Knowledge Forum, bridging the industry and academia, which is being organized by the Bengal Chamber of Commerce in association with Global Change Program, Jadavpur University, Kolkata. The Chamber, along with the Global Change Program, Jadavpur University, is also going to launch today a special publication, Sustainable Energy Technologies and Policies, a Transformational Journey, which is being published by Springer. The program will also subsequently feature a panel discussion on industry to academia, the roadmap. The objective is to bring on board experts from industry and academia to discuss and enlighten us on the critical areas of convergence on industry and academia, especially in the realm of sustainable energy. May I now request our eminent speakers, Mr. Chandrasekhar Ghosh, President, the Bengal Chamber of Commerce, on the dais, please. Mr. Deve Mukherjee, Vice President and Chairperson of the Energy and Environment Committee, the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Sir, if we could have you with us, have us with Professor Ajay Kumar Roy, Director, IIEST Kolkata, sir. Dr. Manpreet Singh Manna, Director, PMSSS and Swayam, Government of India. Mr. Indrajit Sen, President Designate, the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Mr. Arun Mukherjee, Chairperson Emeritus, Energy and Environment Committee, the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you all. May I now request Shri Arun Mukherjee, Chairperson Emeritus, Energy and Environment Committee of the Bengal Chamber of Commerce, to take the session forward, please.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are delighted today to present our unique initiative, launching of Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry Knowledge Forum. Towards our objective of inclusive growth in the industrial and social environment, the Chamber has been working on focused endeavor of creating a platform for industry and academia in the various fields like energy, management, HR, hospitality, manufacturing, agriculture, etc. The Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry has been offering various forums to discuss global energy realities, the present dynamics, and significant transformation in India. Towards this end, the Chamber has proceeded further and collaborated with Jadavpur University. Our present partnership with Jadavpur University through Global Change Program has involved a large number of global thought leaders from industry and academia and resulted in publication by a globally respected publisher, Springer. We have with us today a very distinguished speakers to grace the occasion. May I now request our President of the Chamber, Mr. Chandrasekhar Ghosh, also the Chairman of Bandhan Bank, to deliver his welcome address.
Good morning to all of you. Today, the dais is a very honorable person, Professor Ajay Kumar Roy, who is the Director of IIEST Kolkata, and Dr. Manpreet Singh Manna, who is the Director, PMSSS and SHAM, Government of India, All India Council of Technical Education. I welcome Mrs. Swati Maheshwari, who is the Executive of Executive Editor, Applied Science and Engineering, and lots of dignitaries in the program, and ladies and gentlemen. It is great pleasure for me to invite to all of you to attend this today program. The Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry has a special focus on energy and environment. As most of you be aware about it, the Chamber's signature annual Environment and Energy Conclave had its 10th edition. This is always organized in August in every year. Our emphasis has always been to create a focus to discuss, share best practice, brainstorm strategies on the climate dynamics concerning global issue. India is one of the most vulnerable countries to climate change impact according to a risk index released at COP23. This year marked a decisive shift in global leadership on climate change following President Trump's decision to withdraw from the Paris Agreement signed by all but 2 countries in 2015. This decision was wider ramifications for global politics and for national commitments to keep global warming to less than 2 degrees Celsius. In May, India abandoned planned investments in coal-fired power station with a combined capacity of 14 gigawatt, equivalent to the whole of the UK. The both countries are likely to achieve national climate emissions reduction ahead of targets, potentially serving as a significant contributor to reduce net global emissions, India and China. Meanwhile, India, which set a target of increasing its renewable power capacity to 175 gigawatts by 2022, has exceeded its targets for wind power this fiscal year and has made some strides in increasing its solar capacity. According to a study from the World Resources Institute, recent low solar prices may make renewable power increasingly competitive, the study said. In this backdrop, the Chamber thought it would be very relevant not only to discuss climate dynamics but also to bring together the major stakeholders in this realm, industry and academia. The Chamber is launching its knowledge forum with the objective of creating, archiving and disseminating knowledge, which is the greatest asset an organization or an individual may acquire. I am delighted to have the collaboration with Jadavpur University and the Springer for the first initiatives of the Knowledge Forum, the special publication on sustainable energy technology and policies, a transformational journey. We do hope today's forum will provide you insights and thoughts of energy transformation and industry academia collaboration. We look forward to having support and cooperation from the members and stakeholders as we proceed further with this endeavor. Thank you to all of you on that.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. May I now request Mr. Debe Mukherjee, our Vice President and Chairperson of the Energy Environment Committee, to address the Chamber's this special initiative, the background, objective, and the future what we are planning to do. Mr. Dev.
First default screen ta diye daw. A very good morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished dignitaries on the dais. Industry-academia partnership is not a very new or unique proposition. However, what is worth observing is that research-driven innovation, or in other words, translating innovative technology into commercial product, that is a challenge. The challenge in simple terms is to take research to market, and that's where we see a gap that's there. Quite understandably, research and business have their own set of imperatives. In a traditional sense, research is always driven by the hunger for truth, quest for the truth, whereas business is driven purely for profit. Research that happens in academia, the research scientists like to spread the research or connect the research findings to the wider world. Business is very protective about their technology for competitive advantage. So fundamentally, the dynamics are such that there is a certain chasm that develops, gaps that come up between academia and industry. Now let's look at the general scenario. Large industries, in a way, in very simple terms, have their own set of academic pursuits in form of their own R&D divisions, even institutes that cater to their needs. The real challenge comes when we talk of innovative technology that stems from startups, from MSMEs. And that's the focus where not only the government, but even responsible chambers of commerce and trade bodies and responsible businesses should feel obliged to play their role and make a meaningful contribution. It is with this objective the chamber actually embarked on this journey. And basically, 3 sets of objectives have shaped or are in the process of shaping this knowledge forum that we plan to launch. The first objective is to create a proper ecosystem, an ecosystem that nurtures innovation. And what is most important is to help the innovation that comes out in generating value. Now, how do we generate value? And this is where a very important part in today's digital age is on IPR, or intellectual property rights. And that is what creates value, delivers value, and at the end of the day, helps business. The chamber feels obliged that it should play its role, and especially in the realm of IPR, in terms of disseminating knowledge, awareness in IPR, and helping especially startups and MSME businesses, to understand where they can build value and then trade. The second objective is knowledge dissemination. Now, this knowledge dissemination bit would happen both online and offline. As a move towards that, as the first step, this publication, which we would launch today, the first volume of the publication, is a step towards that direction. Along with this knowledge dissemination, there is another very important part that we would like to address, and that is trying to define research initiatives that are industry-led. Don't take me otherwise, we have scholars, academia, very senior people from academia present here. I'm not trying to put down academia and pull up industry, but what I'm trying to say is industry comes up and defines their needs. And the industry-academia partnership, or the forum, evaluates the need, understands the need, and gives the need to the research students to pursue it, and the industry-academia partnership handholds the research process till the research goes to market. And if the chamber can play a meaningful role in this journey, I think we will have achieved some progress. And certainly, we would be able to help in our own way realize the vision of Government of India as well, the two mantras that we always hear these days, Make in India and Digital India. Which brings me to the third aspect, or the third objective of this forum, which is an online digital platform. I must admit that we are still at a very incipient stage of this exercise. But what we want to do on this platform, and the biggest challenge for us when we are almost invaded by social media, if I say so, it's almost an invasion. We have to be very careful, something like research, and that too in technology, how we will engage with the wider world, and that is the biggest challenge. So what we plan to do with the digital platform, we have twin objectives here. One is to offer online application-driven, business application-driven skill development. And this is where we would like to structure meaningful courses, value-driven courses, purely skill-oriented, which gives benefit not only in what just came to my mind, not just creation of assets, but maintenance of assets. That is becoming a major issue in India, where we are on an overdrive. We can all see for ourselves. There's a huge lot of infrastructure and asset creation. But the biggest challenge that is coming is to maintain those assets. In fact, the other day, just a few days ago, when I was in Delhi at an international seminar, I was told by some people that simple thing like facilities management as a business, that itself is posing a huge challenge in today's context, because skilled manpower is just not available. Because facilities management today just doesn't mean having some plumbers and carpenters around. It's gone much beyond that with all the digital infrastructure that you have. Even in a building, buildings have become smart, and we are talking about smartness in every aspect of life. So, in order to realize the three objectives which I have just tried to explain to you, we would very much count on the support, guidance, and help from the senior people of the academia. I can see some stalwarts here. I can see Professor Joyshri Roy. She has done stellar work in this area. Of course, Professor Rai is here, a veteran in this field. And of course, absolutely delighted to have Dr. Manpreet Singh Manna, who has so very kindly come down from Delhi, which shows that he is committed to this cause. We have had I've had, along with my colleagues, the privilege of having a sort of a very, very meaningful and I think purpose-driven discussion last night. And I'm sure we can count on the support of Dr. Manna in this initiative going forward. We are honored to have all of you here. We count on your support. I'm delighted to welcome Air Chief Marshal Raha, who the other day gave such a wonderful talk on Think series, and I think that we will treasure that, sir. Thank you very much. We have Partho Bhattacharya, we have the German Consul General, we have a whole lot of people, our past presidents. Thank you very much, and let's all embark on this very interesting journey. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Deb. I'm sure now everybody will have the clarity of the depth and the width of this journey, and it's a long journey and we are required to work together. May I now request Professor Ajay Kumar Rai to give his special address.
A very good morning to all of you. Mr. Chandrasekhar Ghosh, President BCC&I, Mr. Deb Mukherjee, Vice President and Chairperson of Energy and Environment Committee of Bengal Chamber of Commerce, my very good friend Dr. Manpreet Singh Manna, who is the Director of AICT, Mr. Indrajit Sen, President Designate of Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Mr. Arun Mukherjee, Chairperson Emeritus, Energy and Environment Committee, very distinguished gathering here, and my very dear colleagues from all the institutes across the country. Today is a very important day, and to start with, I must congratulate Yadavpur University and in particular Professor Sudipto De, who has spearheaded this brilliant idea of bridging the gap between industry and academia through this brilliant publication which will be released today. I am sure that your endeavor, along with your colleagues Professor Shantanu Bandyopadhyay and Professor Mohsin Asadi from IIT Bombay and from University of Stavanger. So both these people, and under the very able leadership of Miss Shati Maharishi, Executive Editor of Springers, they have done a wonderful work. And BCC&I, which is the oldest Chamber of Commerce in the country, they have done a great job in just looking to it that this becomes a great success. So this is a very important event, and as already has been spoken by our Honorable President Sri Ghosh and Mr. Deb Mukherjee, that there is no point exaggerating that energy and environment remains the most focal theme of the humanity for tomorrow. I would only just talk about certain technological aspects of it. So far as the Indian energy scenario is concerned, as we know that we have got mainly starting with still hydrocarbon based thermal power plants which generates quite a lot of energy, and every day that statistics is changing to the extent that only during the last 5 years, in 2010, when the then Honorable Prime Minister Sri Manmohan Singh had inaugurated the National Solar Mission, in these 7 years' time, so far the solar energy is concerned, India has done enough progress, and the current whatever was supposed to be done by 2022, already we have achieved that, and the new target is much more than that. Other than this, as you all know, that oil and natural gas, it will continue to remain, nuclear will continue to remain, and renewable will be the technology of energy tomorrow. But the fifth energy is very important, which all of us, and the most importantly the younger generation must understand, is energy saving. This is a very interesting thing. The fifth, form of energy is you save the energy. Energy saving means in India today, from thermal power plant, if you generate 1 unit of energy, because of low grade of coal, we generate about 940 grams of carbon dioxide. So imagine that 1 unit of energy we are consuming, at the same time we are generating 940 grams, almost 1 kilogram of carbon dioxide. Now this is very important, and since majority of the power resources, even in the next 30 years at least, will remain the hydrocarbon based, the coal based and oil based energy generation, the first important thing that comes to my mind is how to take care of clean coal technology. Mining is a very, very important thing, and whatever we are teaching in mining engineering departments, I have been talking about with my colleagues at IST Shivpur, that you must ensure that the most important thing should be clean coal technology. Come what may, 30 years we simply cannot continue in this state of affairs. Although it is a very heartening thing that renewable energy, especially the solar, is coming and moving in leaps and bounds, yet in the next 30 years we have to bear with the coal based energy. So this is very important, and so clean coal technology, and mainly the carbon dioxide sequestration from the technological point of view, is very important, both at the mining level and also when it comes out. So how to trap that carbon dioxide from there. As you all know that the National Solar Mission is, as a mission, it started from 2010, but in India right from mid-70s we had started initiatives for solar power generation and the research in solar energy. So that's very important. It was confined only within the several this renewable energy consortiums, like now we have got MNRE, the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. They are looking after all these, and it's so heartening to see that universities have come up. Like Jadavpur University, they have got a very good school of energy studies, and at Shivpur, immediately after I joined, I started a center for green energy and sensor system, because sensors are equally important. In green energy, I am very happy that at IST Shivpur today, we are fabricating solar cells which are highest in efficiency in India. We are currently producing, my IIT Bombay colleagues are there, but then even compared to IIT Bombay, currently we have already achieved 19.75% efficiency so far as the silicon solar cells are concerned. It is the highest in India in only 7 years' time, and thanks to Jadavpur University, some of their colleagues are now with us. So it's very important that these universities, Jadavpur must be congratulated, Professor Roy is there and Professor Mojumdar, so all of them so Amitabh Datta. So they have done wonderful in interdisciplinary this kind of areas, and I am sure that things will change a lot. Biomass is a very important thing on which even in university levels also possibly we are not giving that much of stress. Now in biomass, simply just by biogas generation and biogas generation by anaerobic procedures in the absence of any oxygen, we have started one simply from the campus kitchen waste. In Shivpur, from each hostel, every day morning, it has been outsourced, some agency, they will collect the kitchen waste. And that kitchen waste, it is just biogasification is done, and that creates a biogas. Now generally these biogases, depending upon the kitchen waste or the animal waste, whatever you are using, it's important that you get almost say 60 to 80% methane. Methane has got a huge calorific value. Methane's calorific value means if you are using 10 kg of biomass, you get 6 kg of methane, provided your this conversion is very efficient, is very important, and then its calorific value is very high. You are getting almost 6 kilowatt of energy per kg of methane. That means imagine that if our conversion efficiency would have been 100%, then just from 10 kg of biomass, we could generate 60 kilowatt of energy. However, unfortunately, the conversion efficiencies are very poor. Even if you consider that the conversion efficiency is only 20%, still then we can generate 12 kilowatt of energy, which is not a small thing. Only from 10 kg of biomass, straight away you can generate 12 kg of energy. And that's a great thing. So this energy conversion, the technology is today the most important thing. And technology in this kind of conversion. In India, today, in the commercial sector, the total amount of energy that we are producing, in the commercial sector, the maximum energy is being utilized by some of the heavy industries, like say steel, aluminium, both ferrous and non-ferrous. The second important thing is fertilizer. Food is a very important energy. Transportation is another important sector. So these are the sectors in which we are consuming maximum amount of energy. But then it is very important that although we are consuming almost 60% of energy there, the national GDP that it gives is only 24%. These one statistics I was looking somewhere, that is very funny. So after consuming so much of energy in the heavy industries, we are not getting enough of GDP. Why is it so? Simply because of the fact that the technology that we are using, say an aluminium plant, the technology that we have been using so far without appropriate automation is a very inefficient energy process. It is because of this energy inefficiency only that we are consuming more energy and not being able to create that much of GDP. I am not an economist, but then a very simple, humble kind of mathematics shows that had we been able to really convert or enhance the technological development, then we could have achieved really a lot in all the across the segments of industries. And more important thing is that almost 40% of this productions which comes from MSME, medium and small enterprises, since they are not having any technology at all, so energy utilization procedures are very less. They are generating maximum job. But imagine that the efficiency of the energy utilization is the worst in MSMEs. So I would like to request now to Jadavpur University, even I think I don't see many of our colleagues from Shivpur. So Shivpur, Jadavpur, Kharagpur, we have got the cream of the nation here. And then we also do have a lot of, industries like you who will come to, so jointly if we just sit down and if we can take only one pledge, that is to bring in higher technology in the production and manufacturing level, to help the MSMEs to use better energy efficient technologies so that they can make more profits and all. How it can be done? Only by the bridging the gap between the industries and the academia. Somehow I still remember that in early 90s we had a big seminar on industry academia, forum, and that was almost 1990, means almost 30 years back. And today I think at this point of time throughout the country, at any given moment there must be 5 such seminars going on. But then what is the ultimate? I mean, wherever we go, the academicians, we always talk about industry academic interaction. It's very unfortunate that nothing is coming at the surface, absolutely nothing, other than the fact that government, MHRD, they says that we will force the industries to actually spend lot of money on the universities in maybe the development of technology through research. Where is the collaborative research? Frankly speaking, I may be sounding a little bit harsh at this point of time, but then majority of the academic research which is being still done in the universities in the country, whether it's IITs or good universities and all, almost 70 to 80% of the money still comes from the government agencies, DSTs, DBTs, DITs, and many Atomic Energy Commission, MNRE, they are giving us. That's not the case in the USA. That's really not the case in any of the industrially developed countries. So it's very important, and it's not only just the money, but then we have been telling, see, naturally the teachers and the industries people, they are not very much inclined together. Nowhere in the country, unlike in the West. Here, teachers are slightly, again, on my own profession, I must say that we are backdated, and we don't really want to spend much time in going one step forward, meeting the industries and knowing that what is their requirement. Now, eta problem hoye geche je if Muhammad does not, if the mountain does not come to Muhammad, then Muhammad has to go to the mountain. I really do not know that who will go with him. Professor Sudipto De and his team, they have been trying level based. Even with all the chambers of commerce, I am sure that there are some such individual teachers who are going there. But institution wise, after this meeting and after this great book will be published, can we make a resolution, and BCCI will be the correct platform to do that. And that resolution will be that let us have an industry committee in each of these institutions, and let us make it just not a meeting over cups of teas. Important thing, there must be a residue. Without residue, such meetings throughout, in fact, I came back from Madras only day before yesterday. Big Indian Engineering Congress was there, lots of industries people were there, they came and all. Somehow they had given me also one big honor, but then finally nothing comes to any fruitful residue, because at the end of the day, big dinner, big lunch and all, and everybody goes back home to forget about anything. The country really today at this point of time needs a resolution, and there, Bengal being the place where industries in India had started, and BCCI being the organization which has taken the leadership in ensuring that modern Indian industries come in India, and they were the flag bearers of industrial revolution in India. So in that sense, today more than 100 years, isn't it? 186 years. So can we think about that BCCI once again takes the lead, and with even other chambers are there, and then we have got other, like say CII and all, jointly, and it is very important that we must do work jointly. Now that segmentation, segregation cannot be ensured. Shibpur and Yadavpur, I have been telling my colleagues that you must join hands. There are so many research organizations in Calcutta. Nobody talks to each other. We are all separate. When time will come that Bengal will understand that it is the unity that gives us prosperity. Without that, we are individually nothing. It should be an united effort. Even the private engineering colleges in this state, there are brilliant private engineering colleges, I know. I go to many of them, such institutions. They are brilliant kind of students, teachers. So why not, once you go up, I am Kharagpur IIT. I tell to my colleagues, I am still with IIT Kharagpur. I tell my colleagues at IIT Kharagpur that look, when we were born out of the womb of BE College Shibpur. And then now that at IIT Kharagpur we have become big, and then BE College was still small, oh, we just not look at them. Your students used to come to Shibpur for years together to get their degree. So when we become big now, we just look at MIT, Harvard, Stanford and all. We just don't look down. But then there are lots of wealth down the line. And that's what Yadavpur, Shibpur, all of us. We must understand, no ego, nothing. All the industries, please, 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 can we have certain things from you? Number one is, what are the industrial sectors? Because in industries that every year we hear and we see in the newspapers that industries are coming and there will be big gala show, cultural programs, eating, fooding, etc. And then finally nothing comes in Bengal. Why? Why is it that has to be first understood? If necessary, then you please make a very strong committee and let us meet the Chief Minister, let us meet all the people who matter, irrespective of any political, no politics. Politics has already ruined us, no politics, everybody together. And if necessary, if suppose in that committee, members from Yadavpur University, from IIT Kharagpur, from ISI Calcutta, from Shibpur, if all of them make a delegation and come to Delhi, let us go even to the industrialists and let us tell them that we are capable of doing it. Indeed, we are capable of doing it, but then things are not coming. And in this respect, I am sure that again the work has to be done together. Since energy and environment are very closely related, we cannot think of one without the other. And it is very important that can we take up a series of such projects which can be given to the government and not just giving. In our country, what happens that you give a report and the report will see the dust, nothing will come up. And we need a set of people who will just sit on your head. Every day that team will go to writers building, to ministry in Delhi, everywhere, just sit there unless it is done. I had to do it for conversion from Besu to IST Shibpur. It was not a small job. I had to just sit there, I just don't mind. Because that's what is needed, and unless we do it, AICT, Dr. Manna is here. He has been working and he will talk about Sham. You will hear. AICT has done a tremendous transform. What AICT was even 5-6 years back, and today's AICT, they completely, I am somehow the executive committee member of AICT also. And I find that the way they are working, the entire Sham platform, now MHRD, earlier days, IITs and good universities were not giving any importance to UGC or AICT. Now since AICT has raised its standard, now even all the institutes are being asked that you follow whatever AICT is doing. That's a great thing. Even Yadavpur, Shibpur, all NITs have been told that you follow this. So that's a great thing. So every institution will move up provided we make ourselves in that level. With all these few words and wishing Bengal Chamber of Commerce once again a grand, what should I say, my best appreciation, and then to Sudipto, my very good brother, and Amitabh and Professor Roy and all our colleagues from Jadavpur University, Shivpur and other institutions. I am sure that this will be a great thing, and we wish this conference a great success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Roy. In fact, the first flavor of the success of this forum, I would say that this advice, this suggestion of how we can work together in building our nation, in developing the real strong academia industry relationship is definitely going to give us the direction. And from Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we would like to assure you that definitely we are going to work towards your suggested path. May I now request Dr. Manpreet Singh Manna. In fact, by this time, everybody must have come to know about his background. He is Director, PMSSS and SWAYAM, Government of India, All India Council for Technical Education, who is going to deliver his address on inclusive education.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. The great personalities on the desk, the distinguished guests, the very experienced academia, industry sitting off the desk. You must be wondering, today a young guy is sitting between the personalities on the desk, and he may not be directly linked with any industry. And of course, here I have some academia background before joining to my present assignment in All India Council for Technical Education. Great deliberations, but for the one of the great topic here. I must congratulate first to BCC&I, Jadavpur University, and the workforce behind this thought, at least. The reason is very simple. You just for 10 minutes give me one thought provoking thing. Just go back. मैं आपको सिर्फ 10 साल पीछे लेके जाना चाहता हूं. Just 10 years back. Where we are today in certain areas. चलिए, आपके हाथ में मोबाइल है? क्या था? हम ऐसे घुमाते थे. We used to wait for the long hours queue for the trunk calls. Then STD booth came. Finally, we have 3G, 4G, even 5G has to become. Without understanding the 2G, we are coming to the 5G also. Similarly, you talk about this lighting arrangements, the comfort, ACs, air conditioner, heaters, automobiles, wonderful vehicles, but without roads. The thing is that we have brought the very good automation, sophisticated things to give comforts to us without bothering how they will run. What we are going to discuss today here, इसकी शुरुआत घर की अंगीठी से होती है और सैटेलाइट लॉन्चिंग तक जाती है. It starts from your chula at home and goes to your satellite launching. The energy needed at home to warm you, to give you the good meal, and of course to give you the good name in this world that you will launch another one more satellite with a huge energy consumption. The question is very simple here. We are going to deliver something new to this country, again started with BCC&I. मैं देख रहा था, पहला होटल वो यहाँ से, पहली ट्रैम्प वो भी यहाँ से, ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी वो भी यहाँ पर, आप नाम लीजिए, पहला मेडिकल कॉलेज वो भी यहाँ पर. जब सब कुछ पहला यहां से हो रहा है तो ये भी यहीं से होगा ना. It has to be come from here only. You talk about the energy sustainability. तीन चीजें पकड़नी होंगी. The most three things. For the personality, we talk three things like Dastar, Raftar and Guftar. Your wearing sense, your communication, and of course your behavior. These are the three things for the human personality we do teach in our MB and IMs and B schools, etc., etc. What three things in energy? The first thing is generation. Of course, it has to be. I still remember the day when I was doing my electrical electronics engineering from one of the college in Mysore University in 1993 when I passed out. I wrote in my answer sheet at that time, what is the age of the coal in my country? I wrote because my professor taught you randomly you put 20 years. When I passed out, 93. What is today? So one thing we have to keep in mind, we do not have any kind of a thermometer as on today to actually measure the depth, the gravity of the resources we have. We don't have. We don't have any kind of measuring instrument in this country or in this world to measure the resources. Because other side we are giving a very different scenario. We could tap only 1% of renewable energy as on today. 1.25 is the latest Google says 1.25% tapping renewable energy. Tapping. Utilization is different. So generation is the one part, conservation is the second major pillar. Third, after the conservation, I'll come to the third part. If we will catch hold it, I'll ask the very simple question to everyone sitting over here, including me. Since from my birth till date in my home, no such kind of drive, discussion, manual has come to my home how we can do energy saving at my home. My mom used to switch on the light when milk is boiling at kitchen because she said, मैं भूल जाऊंगी दूध रखा हुआ है, light जगती रहनी चाहिए. My father says, I just switch on the geyser and today only my father has to take a bath and the geyser of 35 liters capacity, he has to wait till the yellow light has to come, then only I will open the tap. And we are trying hard to generate even a 1 kilowatt and 1 megawatt and so on. Similarly for all my commercial units. Industry, it's a mandatory, they have to have the stamping from the energy auditor, they do get it. And how they get it, you know it well. It is just managing the things, you know, to get the stamp and to get the three-phase load and big load connection. And of course some subsidy also from the government of India for consuming more units and getting some subsidy and all these things. I still remember the time my grandfather used to say, we got the energy meter and the government used to say, if you are consuming 40 units, you have to pay more. If you are consuming 60 units, you have to pay less. Now it's totally reversed. You consume 100 units, you pay less. If you consume 200 units, your tariff is going to be changed altogether. You know, if you see the actual statistics, the 27% we are paying higher just because of what Professor Ray said, because not proper converting. We do not have the proper conversion. We have in our country only AC generation. We never think about a DC generation. Every house today, you are charging 3 to 5 mobile phones, you have the laptops, you have the so many gadgets at home which require to be again converted to DC, then only they can serve the purpose. And how many transformers you are using in one home you can calculate. Not less than 15 transformers, maybe a smaller one, step down transformers. And what is the transformers side effect? We know it better because many engineers are sitting over here. So it is the beginning. It's the beginning of the era which is coming with the first volume. I think it's the first volume and series of this publications has to come. Why? Reason is very simple. Two things we can understand. This program today for which we are here for the launch, it is the combo pack of Make in India and Digital India. You must be having a question, I'll give reply. Make in India. If you want to have a Make in India, does not mean that you have to bring more industry. Make in India means that industry is already there. We have to strengthen the industry to cutting the cost of the industry by bringing the conservation of energy and saving of energy, and another thing is storage of energy. We do not have the good storage energy concept here. आज तक हमने सिर्फ पैसा जोड़ना सीखा है अकाउंट में, किसी ने एनर्जी जोड़ना कभी नहीं सीखा. It never taught in any class in school and college. If anybody have read, please let me know where you have read this. How to save energy, how to store energy in the FD form, in recurring deposit form. Nobody. Because our electricity board says you consume more, you pay more. They never said, like my prepaid charge, if I could not consume my 10 GB in this month, it is carry forward, gentlemen, and one day in this year your daughter's marriage is going to be there. You don't have to more because you accumulated in last 11 months. You are saving your energy. We can give you the extra units because your daughter's marriage is there. You want more lightning at your home. You use it during your Deepavali. You use it during your Gurpurav or Vaisakhi. Because there is no such concept by the electricity boards. They said you consume, you pay. You consume, you pay. And we will put you some another more energy meters which some high speed calibrated. Yes, it's a hard fact. If you have the lab tested meter, you put along with the energy meter, you will find that you are paying 15% more even that. Same case for my electricity equipments. We are buying it. We are just going in the market and blindly we are buying. Okay, it's a fan, 40 watt. Okay, fine. You check which fan is 40 watt. We never bothered to teach our students what is the difference between the copper and aluminium core. How it's going to be. Because we are talking only about the generation. Now I'll come to the plants. We came to this high race of communication side, big towers, big generation towers, 3G, 4G, 5G. बातें तब भी होती थी जब फोन नहीं होता था. फर्क इतना है कि अब फोन है, बातें नहीं होती, संवाद नहीं होता, पड़ोस को पड़ोस का पता नहीं है. I still remember the day I read in my books when I was doing my schooling कि गांव का एक आदमी वो अपने परिवार की परवाह नहीं करता था, अपने बच्चों की परवाह नहीं करता था. जब बाढ़ आती थी वो सिर्फ पेड़ पे चढ़ जाता था और वो एक नगाड़ा बजाता था. That was the communication he wants to give to the whole village. Flood is coming, please save your crops and please save your families. And somebody is looking my family also because I am doing this job, just playing a drum. Today I have a 3G in my hand, my neighbors getting some sparks on the pole. My son say, Papa, अरे छोड़ो अंकल को एसएमएस मत करो, वो हमसे ज्यादा स्मार्ट है. He knows when the fire will happen. We will never even inform to the neighbor what's going to be happen to your house next 1 hour. What kind of communication we have? We have the plants 100 years old. How many times the renovation, modernization, utilization has been taken place? और मोबाइल हम तीसरे साल बदल देते हैं. How costly it is, it doesn't matter because mobile has to be changed after 3 years. And the kids will change even in 6 months also. Their bags, their dress, their shoes. And what we are doing, the automation and renovation in the plants which are generating our lives, which are giving our lives. Can you imagine this program just without light? Just switch off the light, switch off the mic. Can we have this program? But we don't know the exact pain, how painful to generate energy. Coal is not going to die. Well said by Professor Ray. We should find the better solutions for conservation and conversion. Energy has to be converted. We go to wind, we go to solar, not a bad deal. But is it possible everywhere in my country itself? Can you think something about solar where there is a 3 months ice like a Srinagar? So thermal has to maintain their proper share till we could bring some new aspects of energy as coming up with this volume, and it's a great ideas are going to become. Now what to do? BCC&I, Jadavpur University, IST, all Shibpur, all come together. AICT from my honorable chairman said I give words over here because my council member, honorable council member is over here. Please do conduct one energy sustainable conservation hackathon in West Bengal. To whom you have to invite? Please invite all your engineer students to come on this platform. And this is the curriculum because everybody knows the problem today. Problem we know. Solution we have, with a very good publication is going to be released today. Solution we have, problem will we know, but how to implement? Who's the implementer? You and me. Maximum you can go at home, you can switch off the light when you don't want. Do you think that it will serve? Of course it will contribute some part. But will it serve until unless you change the mindset of my youngsters? Those are going to take hold of my country tomorrow, maybe as a bureaucrats or maybe as a technocrats, maybe as a political system. Please call them on the platform called Hackathon. Ask them only how betterment in a coal energy generation, how betterment in a wind energy generation, what is the role of sensors, transducers, what is the role of PLC, what is the role of SCADA system sort of things we can implement to get the isolated conservation at least mohalla wise, colony wise, home wise. I still know as per Electricity Act, the manual, nobody can have the energy meter without having the capacitor bank along with it. And tell me in which house the capacitor bank is lying, just tell me. Even at my house. Because we do not know the theory of lead and lag. It hardly knows by only electrical engineer. Is it only electrical engineer is consuming electricity in this world? Do not required by the commerce people, do not required by the person who's studying humanities. It is a journal. We should teach that what is kVAR and what is kVA and what is kW. We have to. Otherwise we will keep generating, no problem. We can put more plants. Come to the other side. One of the Professor Sitaram from ISC Bangalore, what he stated in some conference, USA has the reservoir storage of 12 years. China has for 6 years. Unfortunate in my country, we have the storage only for 3 months. We are fighting between the borders by putting the fencing that no even the bird can fly from that country to my country, not even a bird. And we never realize that 85% of my rainwater of my country is just floating out from my country. We could not tap because we do not have the coastal dams as on today in my country. Have you ever thought of it? Can't we touch, we can't do now because we saw our job. I am comfortable in AICTE, somebody is comfortable as a professor and director and they did very good publications and they see, I have seen my life. Let my youngsters, let my new engineers to understand because we lived well. कल से अगर पानी आना बंद भी हो गया हम चला लेंगे हमारी सांसें 15 साल 20 साल से ज़्यादा नहीं है जो अभी पैदा होने वाले हैं उनके लिए क्या छोड़ के जा रहे हैं My grandfather given me good house, my father given me good car. Can't I give a water and electricity to my kid? इतना बड़ा crime नहीं करना है हमें. We should not do this kind of crime. So this whole concept for which today here, now I come to the digital India. I told Make in India, you understood. Digital India. If you think that this room discussion, what I have spoken, what press array and what the deliberations are going to become next 3-4 hours, we'll just discuss here in this room and it will be spread all across the world. No, it's not feasible. This recording will go to YouTube. Many likes will come. Many people will show in their classrooms and they will start learning, you know, this is digital India. Similarly, if this book which published over here, if it is a book, it may be in the library of Calcutta University, Jadavpur University or maybe Shibpur or maybe Kharagpur or some copies may come to some ministries also because as per the courtesy they have to send 1 copies. Do you think it will serve the purpose? You know this is a huge, it's a new Bible for the energy generation and modernization. What exactly is going to become? I could see the contents, what exactly is going to happen. Let it to be digitalized and through SWAM which is the one of the platform by this country and the world's largest MOOCs platform, I can say with proudly because it starts from the 9th standard till PhD programs today as we have the 900 courses including the self-paced courses and the scheduled courses. Let each and every human being on this planet can see how I can contribute for my nation, for my world, for my universe to save energy, to convert energy or to store energy. We only bother to store energy in the mobile at morning until the battery doesn't show 100%, you feel little panicky. अरे बीच में battery discharge हो जाएगी तो क्या करूँगा? But we never thought कि कल मेरे घर का बिजली बंद हो जाएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगा? क्योंकि वो तो guaranteed है ना, देना ही पड़ेगा गवर्नमेंट को. Started with the 60 paisa unit, today we are paying 7 rupees per unit. And how much? Okay, we are from the good families, we can afford it. Please think. Please think for the 60% of the population of my country, though cannot afford even a fan. Although fan is there, electricity is there, they can't pay. Because mindset is different. They will pay for the prepaid recharge, but they will not pay for the electricity bill. And they want some other via media to get the energy through theft. As per my state statistics in Punjab, out of 1 rupee 52 paisa goes for misutilization, theft and resources. तो बताइए फिर क्या होगा? जितनी मर्जी पैदा कर लीजिए ना, क्योंकि बिजली तो फ्री देनी है. Every villager, since they got a free electricity for their tube well, it is meant for tube well. They put their house inside the field, they put the ACs there. They are enjoying the AC comfort. Are they farmers? We made a wrong approach. Don't give subsidy. Give them the proper scenario. Let them, ask them one day, come to the furnace and burn the coal and see how energy is going to get generated. Have a feel of that heat. Have a feel of that problem that my nuclear power plant engineers are facing after 3 years as per their body scan. What kind of the annihilment they are going to have from radiations. But they are doing for the nation. They are the soldiers, I feel. If they will not stand in the plant, how you will get the energy at home? We have to bring this kind of revolution in the mindset of the people. That's it. We have to change only the mindset. Nothing, no new curriculum is required in my college and school. No chapter is required. Only the mindset change can be done like a hackathon, like workshops, like seminars. Call the youngsters and first you show the videos of the inside plant, how energy is going to be generated, converted. How tough today to get the glaciers water to be there in your hydro storage. And what is the rainfall scenario 30 years back, 60 years back, what is the rainfall today? What will be the rainfall after? हम एक मूवी तो बना के दिखा रहे हैं बच्चों को 2050, everybody will be doing this HoloLens and this kind of a computer. Can you ever shown, अरे बेटा ये कंप्यूटर कहाँ से लाओगे? जब बत्ती नहीं होगी तो बाबा जी का ठुल्लू कंप्यूटर चलेगा. Have you ever shown this kind of movie? The dark world by 2050. If you show, then only they will be scared. They will be scared, they will ask to parents, Papa, do not misuse. Mama, do not misuse. We don't want the street lights at the daytime. It has to be get some automated way. So this is the start, this is the beginning, and the SWAM is always ready to have this kind of a courses to come on the platform. You must be wondering what is this PMSSS, like it's a short form of Prime Minister Special Scholarship Scheme, run by PM's flagship program by AICT to give the special scholarship for the students for one of the state called Jammu and Kashmir. They take admission anywhere in this country other than J&K state for MBBS, for BDS, for engineering, for humanities, for law, for veterinary. We do pay tuition fee, we do pay their maintenance fee that they can comfortably come, study, go back, develop their state, because this is also one of the state of the country which has to be developed more because of insurgency. They comes under control of some people or some wrong minds. Those do make polluted their minds and make use of them for anti-national activities. That's why the PMS is one of the flagship program by ministry, and we are running it successfully. The 13,000 plus students are already there, and many students are there in Kolkata also in some of the institutions. Supernumerary seats are given for the 10 for engineering. And the SWAM, well, study webs of active learning for young aspiring mind, swam.gov.in through your mobiles, whether it's iOS, whether it's Android, whether it's Windows, or your laptops or your iPads, because today's my student never goes to the library to open the books. They are screen savvy. Every time they wants to see something on a mobile, whether it's a YouTube or some other stuff. So if they will go for YouTube and Ghana.com, why not SWAM? That's why we brought this SWAM online, because they have to travel morning 1.5 hour and evening 1.5 hour in a yellow bus. In my country, there is one more concept is called a yellow bus concept. I feel the lab of any engineering institution in my country is closed by 5 o'clock. Sorry, that institution is not institution. It is just a marriage palace, coming, doing marriage and going home. Labs should be open by 24/7. Because today's my young generation says, sir, we are the best consumers. Of course, we are the best consumers in the world. But where is the innovation? You see the rank where we are for the innovation. So this kind of documents, so-called energy sustainable module manual sort of a Bible is going to be come up today, and we are lucky enough to witness this launching today, and we have to contribute ourselves from our side, more series, more volumes, and to spread this awareness, bring some workshops, seminars between the students. One teacher, rest all students, because only the students can save now country. We could not save well. Let the students to become forward and save. And what kind of the revolution is coming today in my country is coming from the youngsters only. It's not the first time, it's not the last time. You see the previous history also. Like when our boss ji came to this, when Bhagat Singh came to this, they were all youngsters. They joined this revolution, and we are safe today, we are scared today. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Manna. It was very insightful, exciting, and very simple way to put forward the objective of SHAYAM and how SHAYAM and this initiative can work together. Now I have the pleasure of inviting Dr. Manna to actually do the honors to launch the book, and may I also request the editors, Dr. Sudipto De, Dr. Muhammad Asadi, Professor Shantanu Bandyopadhyay, and Ms. Sati Meher Rishi, along with Deve Mukherjee. May I now request Mr. Indrajit Sen, our President Designate and the Managing Director of International Combustion, to offer vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure in offering the formal vote of thanks. Before I do that, I must also say that it was truly a privilege in listening to the thought-provoking and inspiring deliberation and sharing of thoughts by Professor Ajay Rai and Sri Dr. Manpreet Singh Manna. We express our sincere thanks to Jadavpur University for collaborating with us for launching of the BCC&I Knowledge Forum and the special publication Sustainable Energy, Technology and Policies a transformational journey. I would really enjoy, I'm sure you will be greatly inspired and enjoy by reading this book. Our special thanks to Springer, a leading publisher, and Mrs. Swati Maheshrishi, Executive Editor, Applied Science and Engineering of Springer, for supporting and partnering with BCC&I for the special publication on sustainable energy, technology and policies. We also convey our sincere thanks to the leading academician, Professor Ajay Kumar Roy, Director, IIEST, Shibpur. Incidentally, Shibpur, I am also an alumni of Shibpur, for gracing this occasion by his presence and sharing his thoughts on the academia perspective on the topic of such great importance as industry-academia partnership and cooperation. We assure you, Dr. Roy, your thoughts have been taken into consideration, and we shall see how we can partner also with academia in these aspects. Our all thanks also to Dr. Manpreet Singh Manna, Director, All India Council of Technical Education, and also Director, PMSSS and SWAYAM. I was curious about PMSSS, and I looked at it yesterday, and I found that's a great initiative. It's a great initiative by the government on both in PMSSS and SWAYAM. It's a great platform. I really appreciate your inspiring speech. Our special thanks to Professor Shantanu Bandyopadhyay, Department of Energy, Science and Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, and Dr. Mohsin Asadi, Professor, Faculty of Science and Technology, University of Stavanger, we truly appreciate your coming down here all the way to this city and taking time out of your extremely busy schedule to be with us today. We are honored, sir. Both Professor Bhattacharya and Dr. Asadi has been also the integral part of this initiative of the Chamber, where the Chamber has embarked on. We, of course, can't thank enough Dr. Shudip Tode, Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Jadavpur University, and the key resource member, Energy and Environment Committee of the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He is the one who is the main initiator for bringing us all together to this special program and also to this publication. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank all of you who are present here today, and also the members of media who are present here to listen to this particular program of launching of India academia industry cooperation. And this is an issue of major importance. There has been two issues of major importance, and one is, of course, sustainable energy, and the other one is academia industry cooperation. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we have a pleasant task to perform. May I request our President, Mr. Chandrasekhar Ghosh, to please hand over the memento to Professor Ajay Kumar Roy. And Dr. Manpreet Singh Manna. Thank you, sir.
Our first session is over. We are going to go to the next session immediately, and May I now request Mr. Deve Mukherjee to take over for the second session.
Yes. Just one minute. One minute. Sure. Tell me what is the importance of the industry and academia partnership and the knowledge development.
Yeah. If you talk about the industry and academia partnership, I think there is no future without this partnership. What the institute is developing a product which has to drive the industry. If they do not know the sync, what the synergy has to come. I am teaching something different in the classroom. What exactly the industry is doing something different. There is a no combination, and because of no combination, there is no development of the nation. So it is the combo pack sort of things. 50-50 partnership. What we are teaching, it should be the need of the industry, it should be the demand of the industry, and what same duties to conserve industry.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start our next session. Would request you all to please take your seats.
May I request you to please take your seat? We are going to start this session with special remarks from Mr. Swati Maharishi, Springer.
ओके उसको प्रोजेक्ट करो Good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, I'd like to thank the Chamber, Mr. Mukherjee, Professor Shantanu Dey, Professor Bandopadhyay, and Professor Mohsen Asadi, who were responsible for this partnership and for bringing out this book. I had thought to talk a little bit about Springer and what we do and how we are involved in sustainable development and grand challenges of the world, so to speak, for the 10 minutes that were allocated to me. But I'm going to start with that and try to wrap it up in the first 5 minutes because I have some thoughts from the conversations that we had this morning on this platform. And I'm going to share those with all of you. So I'm going to quickly introduce Springer Nature. Many of you might know that Springer and Macmillan merged in 2015 and formed the new entity called Springer Nature. We publish many top brands. By numbers, we are the largest academic publisher in the world. We have 175 years of experience publishing academic content. Of course, Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry is older. And we are very glad to be partnering with them. Most of you who are from academia would already know that we have a lot of Nobel laureates and other folks publishing with us. We are the largest publisher of journals by numbers, including the largest publisher of open access journals in the world. We publish across disciplines, and we publish, highly relevant and recognized content, including the Nature journal and the other Nature branded journals. As a book publisher also, we are the leader in the domain. What you see on the screen is 2015 data. At the end of 2016, we had published 12,500 books, most of which were in science and tech. And this year, we are going to cross over 15,000 new books at the end of 2017. We are also the largest publisher of electronic books in the academic domain. And Dr. Manna is not here, but he talked about an electronic version of the book that we have published on sustainable energy technology and policies. And it is already available. I'm happy to tell you, you can access it if you have access to the Springer book packages, or you can go and purchase it online. You can even purchase specific chapters that you're interested in. So everything we publish is both print and electronic. And we publish across disciplines, across domains of products also, from databases to journals to books to handbooks. And it's very important to us that we publish in fields that matter to the society and to the world at large. We have several initiatives which talk about engagement with the scientific community, with the society, and with the industry that's driving research forward. I'm going to just mention some of those initiatives. One of them is the Springer Nature Grand Challenges initiative, where we specifically look at focusing on content which is in multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary areas, including areas that affect the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the 2030 SDGs. We have content that is mapped to the goals. We do a lot of events and initiatives around the Sustainable Development Goals and what we call the Grand Challenges. We have content which becomes free at different times of the year related to specific grand challenges. The challenges covered include sustainable development, energy, also digitization of the world, so Internet of Things, artificial intelligence for sustainable development. All of those items are covered herein. Another sustainable initiative, so it's not just enough to publish content that is related to sustainability, it has to be sustainable and also sustainably accessible. So we have a new initiative from Springer Nature where we allow people to share their published content for free from day one. So every time you publish a paper with any Springer Nature journal, you get a small link which allows you to share your content via any of the social media platforms for free. So as soon as somebody clicks on that link, they can read the whole article or chapter, whatever it is that you're sharing, for free from day one. They cannot download it, they cannot print it. For that, they need to have purchased access. But to read it, they don't have to pay. So this is a great initiative in terms of making content more accessible to the scientific community at large. Another initiative that we have, in fact, which we've been running for a while, is called Springer Nature SciGraph, which is linking all the metadata that we have available. So we publish a lot of content, but we also have a lot of data about that content, which can help institutes, industry, and agencies like the Chamber and AICTE decide how people are publishing, what are they publishing in, and how is the funding coming to fruition. So it links a lot of data about the stuff we publish, all the metadata that we have about funding agencies, about scientists, about the type of work that they're doing, and how engaging or impactful that is. So this is the product vision. You can read more about it on Springer Nature SciGraph, on the Springer Nature SciGraph website. We just take the data and give it a shape so that you can actually make sense and extract information out of the linked open data that we have. Okay, so that was about Springer. I'm just going to mention a few points that I wrote down. We were talking about energy storage. Dr. Manna was talking about energy storage. I was last week at the IIT Madras Research Park, and he was talking about rural electricity. And I saw a very nice initiative there, which has been led by Dr. Ashok Jhunjhunwala. It is a solar DC initiative. It has been implemented in parts of the research park, and it's also being, I think, tested across rural areas in India, where the appliances are running on DC current rather than AC current. That saves us a lot of energy. The conversion factor of 30 to 40%, the loss that you bear from DC to AC in solar goes away. That is one thing that I think is very, it's a very, very good initiative. It's an excellent thing for rural India. It can be implemented in many different forms, including things like cooktops. You can have a solar DC cooktop. Instead of using a fossil fuel for cooking or giving subsidy on fossil fuel for cooking, you can give subsidy on solar panels so that people can create, can use green and efficient energy. Within India, we also focus on publishing a lot in the areas of green and clean energy, climate change. We are currently in talks with the Climate Change Research Institute based in New Delhi for a book partnership which will talk about different aspects of carbon capture and other climate change issues, including hydroclimatic issues. We have partnerships with agencies like the Infosys Science Foundation, Indian Institute of Science, and some of the IITs. We work very, very closely with all of the energy departments in the IITs, including IIT Bombay. We have books in all areas of solar energy, specifically related to the applications valid for India or other developing nations. So you would find content on solar desalination, on LED lighting for agriculture, all of this content which is really focused on developing countries and sustainability in developing countries. I would also like to mention here an initiative that we started a couple of years ago. I personally have taken a great interest in the industry-academia partnership. I think it's very, very important. There are times that I have hosted industry-academia brainstorming sessions at conferences, talking specifically about issues that matter to both ends of industry and academia. So that's all I would like to say. I would once again like to congratulate the editors for bringing out this volume. We are very excited about this, and also this is volume 1. We have a second volume coming up in the next couple of months. We are excited about bringing that to you also. If you have any questions about any of these volumes, please do get in touch with me. And also I would like to mention that if you would like to do a course through Swayam based on the book, a professional training course, we would be happy to support it with this product. That's all. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you very much, Swati, for the assurance you give us to partner with us in this journey that we have embarked upon. As she rightly said, this is just the first volume that's been released today. The second volume is coming very closely. It's coming out very closely, hopefully in February. We'll keep a bit of a surprise there. The second volume will have another grand launching, and we will tell you more about it nearer the date. We are slightly running late, so we need to now structure the next part, which is all about the publication and the leadership role that Professor Sudipto De has taken in this initiative. A huge credit to him, and of course that was duly initiated and recognized by all of us. So Professor Sudipto De will make a presentation on the publication, followed by the views and inputs from my two other fellow editors, Professor Mohsen Asadi and Professor Shantanu Bandyopadhyay. And what we would also like is a bit of feedback interaction. I know you have not gone through the publication, but whatever you have to ask within, say, about 10 to 15 minutes of interactive session with you, that would be very beneficial, of great value to all of us. May I now request Shudipto to please make a presentation and talk more about the publication and the overall initiative that we have embarked upon. Thank you.
So I'm really overwhelmed with the support I have got today from the very beginning of this particular program, and I really feel inspired with this particular endeavor as I started with negotiating with Bengal Chamber, because Bengal Chamber is I'm involved with this for a long time, and I must admit that a lot of inspiration I have got from this chamber, specifically people like Mr. Mukherjee, Arun Mukherjee, Dev Mukherjee. I must admit that in front of me is sitting, he has given me a lot of support in many of the activities, Mr. Alok Mukherjee. So I'm indebted to all of them, and I can just explain the little bit background, and also how it inspired me to do that, and what is rather, I must say, this 2 volumes is very have not that much significance. What we wish to do in future, that I want to convey the message to all of you, and if you just join hands, then only it is possible. So my presentation will be basically 3 things: background, publication, and summary, and way forward. What we think, that's the last part, is most important, I think. But the background is also important in a sense. How this grow, that should be known. Yeah, the background is something like this. It all started with our Indo-Norwegian cooperation. We have one particular project with Norwegian counterpart, Professor Mohsen Asadi is here, the coordinator of from University of Stavanger. What struck to my mind actually, whenever we go abroad in advanced countries, we are working very closely with industry. We have many of our colleagues has worked abroad, and they have found out that they work very closely. But whenever we come to India, we don't find that much interactions, but we cannot develop it instantly. This is a process. So I started discussing, why should we not make some initiatives, at least in the form of, which is the easiest process, is making some documentation in the form of books. And Mr. Arun Mukherjee and Dev Mukherjee gave me that support, carry on, you see. And then I have my good old friend, Professor Shantanu Bandyopadhyay. He also joined hands because he has a lot of editing experience. He is already chief editor of more than 1 journal. So Shantanu gave me that support. Okay, I can also join with you. So with that, we all started, but all started with this cooperation and that confidence that we can do, or rather, we are trying to do something from this particular cooperation program. And then the characteristics of this cooperation was, it is highly interdisciplinary. We always think that discipline is created for our convenience, but nature doesn't know any discipline. We have to know the discipline details to learn subject, but then if we want to go to the application field, it has to be interdisciplinary. So our this particular cooperation was highly interdisciplinary. We have our respected professors like Professor Ranjana Chaudhary from Chemical Engineering Department, senior professor, Professor Joyashree Rai is there, and our idea was basically, we are trying to make this initiative in the form of some sort of technology and socio-economic aspect, because especially in the energy environment, whatever the technology is developed, it will not penetrate into the society unless we have the proper assessment of that. In fact, the Norwegian group has also consisting of the technology group, and they have also the social science group people. And this all we have clubbed the interdisciplinary different members into global change program, and that's our advantage at Jadavpur University. We believe in interdisciplinarity, and we have very good activities at interdisciplinary activities at different schools, and global change program is considered to be the best suitable platform for that. And then UIS has also got their faculty members combined together, and Mohsen Asadi can speak on that a little bit. They are also thinking that interdisciplinarity is the possible future for doing good things. Then we have the faculty and student exchange regularly from both sides. We have Indian students visiting there. In fact, two of our students recently came back after visiting, staying for 1 month, and the Norwegian students are also coming here, and faculty exchange is already part of the game. IIST Shibpur and Ramakrishna Mission Narendrapur Rohora, we have certain interactions. We think that these are the social outreach. We are doing those things also as far as possible if they are interested with our activities. Industry partners, this is very important. From the very beginning, we have started working with the industry partners in this cooperation. We have the Bengal Chamber at Indian side, and we have the Irish, which is a research organization supporting industry R&D at Norway. Both of these two organizations has given us tremendous support. That's why it is possible. Then activities. I think the 2C is believing. So I'll quickly scan certain pictures, photographs. So it all started in 2015 March when two visitors from Norway came to our Jodhpur University. So one of them is already there on the stage. Other came in different programs previously. So we had a group of interdisciplinary group at Global Change Program. So we had the members initially involved in this project, but we have incorporated new members also later. Then it started activities with the Bengal Chamber. Initially, very first program was in Energy Environment Committee. In one of the meeting, they have good presentations, and I must admit that many industry people took interest into the activities of the Norwegian group too. They are also in the process of developing certain relations. And we had several meetings at Norway also. This is at Stavanger, the first visit of the Indian group. We had several issues raised and started doing, and in 2007, obviously some of them are already been published, both in the form of journal papers, research activities, and the book is today being launched. And then we visited industry as an industry interactions. CESC Boj plant is the best possible plant available nearby in Kolkata, around Kolkata. So we made a good visit to that, and really I am grateful to CESC who supported us for this visit, and some work we are planning to jointly do with them. Let's look forward. And then we visited IIST Shivpur. We were invited, we were kind enough to Professor Ajay Kumar Rai. He invited us to visit, and we had a presentation. And in this book also there is contribution from IIST, and we hope to make more interactions. And in fact, we welcome them if they want to join with us in future activities. And then we had visited the Narendrapur Ramakrishna Mission. We had a lot of interactions, and we are hoping that some activities will be initiated in future with them also. And Ramakrishna Mission, Vivekananda VC College actually at Rohora, Maharaj came today with my request, and I'm really inspired that these people are all there to inspire me. Then in 24th May 2016, we had the first big program on sustainable energy jointly with industry. The concept of this particular program was the sustainable energy is an evolving subject. The proper definition is not available in academic textbook. So let the industry also interact. What should be the form and content of this particular course? We are in this process still. Please, we are inviting suggestions from you people. We are a lot of experienced people, both from academia and industry. So how this course should be, because during the discussion yesterday with Springer and other publishers, Springer and other group members, there is a possibility with Dr. Manna also of developing this particular course as a SWAYAM, in the SWAYAM platform also. So people can interact separately with me. I can discuss. And then the industry institute interaction activity was there as the second part, and you can find out some senior members of the different industry, known industry, very well-known industries, and from academic representation also Professor Asadi and Professor Roy represented that particular, how the interactions could have been done. So it started in 2016. Then we were actually invited to present it in Oslo meeting, where our project was considered to be one of the best performing project. So there the members were actually the UGC Secretary, Dr. Shandhu was there. You can find out the two of the directors of IITs, Professor Parthopratim Chakraborty and Indranil Manna. They inspired me a lot. You can try, you will have some results. So that gave me also, a lot of inspiration for carrying out MHRD Additional Secretary is also there, Sivramanaya. He was also very much supportive, carry on. And that industry institute, the academia interactions idea also started in that discussion. Then we have our presentation in industry, one of the program in Norway also. A lot of industry people were involved. We were discussing issues with respect to Indian perspective vis-a-vis Norwegian perspective. So I made a presentation on Indian energy scenario there. Professor Rai, Joyce Rai was also there. These are the, some of the speakers who actually made presentations there, both from Norwegian and Indian side. And then we had another program with a bigger group of Norway, and Norwegian council, Nayantara Palchoduri was, she was kind enough to encourage us in that particular program. And then subsequently in the latest visit, we have our included new members from Civil Engineering Department, from Computer Science Engineering Department. We are trying to make the people of Jodhpur University in a complete interdisciplinary group towards the sustainable energy development. And BCCI is kind enough to invite us to present our book concept in their flagship program in the 10th Annual Energy and Environment Conclave. Professor Mohsen Asadi explained his ideas, and he was one of the keynote speakers in that particular program. And I was also given an opportunity to explain the book concept. With this, the publication, I mean, this is the book as it looks from top, or rather from the cover page. And then these are the 4 editors already known. It does not need to mention once again. And I'm thankful to Mr. Dev Mukherjee, because from the very beginning when I proposed that idea, he encouraged me, and he was willing to join hands with us in this particular development. And Shantanu and Mohsen, they are my good friends and co-workers. And then I had, this is the, rather the website link. You can have it, the detail, whatever you wish, you can have it from this particular link, as Swati has mentioned. And these are the more book detail about the price and other things. The hard copy is always costlier, $249 sort of thing. But you can have the e-copy too. And if you have any queries, you can ask directly Swati. She can explain it much better than me. And then this international edited volume has actually the contributions from different fields. Already I have got the feedback of some of the senior people that have you covered this? Honestly speaking, sustainable energy is such a vast area. In my experience of working with this particular area, it's impossible to cover in 2 volumes. So we have started that. Please give your feedback. What are the areas still left? We will try to do in subsequent activities in the form of books or some other course or other things. So I invite all people to give your feedback as far as possible. We will try to incorporate in our subsequent endeavors. So either global, the book specifics, the book has a special feature of, we have tried to address more of India-specific things also, because that will give certain idea about this particular development of cooperation or getting benefit, my country-specific benefit with an collaboration with an advanced country. So most chapters are interdisciplinary in nature. So the contributions are from these countries, from different countries actually. We have the contribution from US, many countries of Europe, some of the Southeast Asian countries, and we hope to increase this network in further work. Total chapters were 37. We were not initially prepared for that. We are preparing for only 1 volume, but subsequently Springer proposed that 37 chapters in a single volume is not very feasible. So we have to divide into two parts. We are really sorry that the 2 volumes could not be published today. So we could publish only 1 book with 19 chapters, and another 18 chapters is going to come out, and Mr. Mukherjee is taking care of to publish it, in a bigger forum. I don't know, that he will announce it later if it's successful. So the contributions include the theoretical and practical issues, and obviously it's not possible to describe all the things whatever is there in the book. Only if you read then you can realize. But we have tried to cover as much as possible the real life applications also, because that comes from the industry. And policy issue is very important with respect to, in addition to the technology development. So several contributions are there with respect to, in the field of energy policy, sustainable energy policy issues. So summary and way forward. So what do we feel is international volume of sustainable energy is being developed. I'm telling because the 2 volumes are there, so another volume will come out. And significantly Indian issues has been addressed. Academia industry collaboration is the most important issue here also, I feel. Interdisciplinarity, and the people who are working in this is the 4 institutions: Jadavpur, IIT Bombay, University of Stavanger, and Bengal Chamber. So let's hope for further development of this particular thing, and it is being launched on 27th December. I was a little bit confused, but I think with permission of Mr. Mukherjee, I am just, sorry, there is now one more slide. Yeah, the main idea is the interdisciplinarity and the new applications, regulations, new knowledge and skill and manpower training. This is not the part of the book, but this, on the basis of, taking the advantage of this book publications or making the group consolidation, we are looking forward to make industry specific requirement also in the form of knowledge forum. And for that, any suggestion is welcome. Please advise me how we should proceed, so we can make that knowledge forum successful. We will try to do that. And then this is launched on the industry academia work together, maybe the beginning of the future knowledge forum that we believe with your kind support. And the next thing we are very happy to announce that we have got another support from Norway, and we are very much encouraged that this project was much more competitive than the previous one, because Brazil, Russia, China, Japan were also included, including India. We have got one project from that particular call also, and we are I mean, having the full support of continuing our collaboration even another 2 years. So hopefully with your kind support, we can develop some more useful things if you advise us, and we are also ready to give our effort. Please. Thank you.
May I now request Mohsen to give us his views and any other inputs?
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the invitation as well for this launching of the book. I am very glad to be part of this collaboration, which has been a rather successful collaboration. Actually, during these years, we have been able to establish we have already had good history together with Professor Dee from my time at Lund University in Sweden, and it continued that after I moved to Norway, and during this specific project, we also managed to establish this collaboration with the chamber, which is an important element. Collaboration between industry and academy has been mentioned several times today. It is not actually, let's say, easy task to implement, not even in Europe or in US. It has been many different models and different approaches to stimulate such a collaboration, and some of them have been successful, some not. And we have also been talking about that we should be able to review the models implemented elsewhere to see what works and what doesn't work, and then find maybe some kind of model that would fit the Indian circumstances, so to say. So my idea in the end of the day is about that there are two different important elements of the collaboration between university and industry. The first, of course, is about the training of the workforce. That is the most important element, that new people, new engineers, new doctors, and so on are going to be trained and delivered to industry to support the industry in the future. But when it comes to the research and development work, it is also very important to find out the needs, the real needs of the industry, and try to establish a collaboration and discussion forum between the industry and the university to address those issues in a way that not only carrying out research for publication, but also carrying out research to address real life problems and try to develop the industry in a way that it finally can deliver those products and the services which will be required in the let's say changing world, which is continuously changing, and of course in the terms of the energy and the transition which takes place right now, it is a very important factor that the discussions is carried out and the exchange of information between the academy and the industry is established in a way that the work carried out and the services provided are as efficient and useful as possible. Due to the short time, so I stop it there, and I hope that our new project and our continuation of the collaboration will provide us with the opportunity to contribute to improvement of the life standard as well as the environmental impact as much as we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mohsen, for giving us the overview. May I now request Shantanu to please give us his take on the publication and the way forward.
I'm really honored to be part of this book, and for that I'm really thankful to Shuditoda and the Bengal Chamber for giving me this opportunity. I'm not going to take too much time. I'm just going to probably share one of the thoughts related with this industry academia interactions. In some way, the interaction is extremely essential. It's not that that we do not survive so far without this interaction. There is some amount of interactions, mainly for the educations and little training for the manpower. But we are concerned now with all other issues. Something like this is like the climate change. What will happen if there are a lot of species are going to get extinct? What will happen to us as human beings? Similarly, you can find a lot of examples where a business who doesn't have a competitor, then suddenly a competitor comes with a new service, new products, and the old business house are extinct. Similarly, if you look at in academia, I can do on certain amount of research. If I do not produce continuously something very effective, soon my research will be obsolete, and as a researcher, I myself may not exist anymore. So probably this is the right time that we have to come together, look for the innovations to solve the problems. Maybe there is a small amount of ego between us. Industry is not really coming up and thinking that the academia will come and say, what can I do for you? And academia is also putting up some kind of ego and then saying industry should come and say, solve these problems. Maybe this is the first step towards that. And the book, here we collected some of the visions related with the sustainable energy. So we need, probably there is a transitions that we are going through, especially in the energy front, coming from the old fossil fuel generations, going towards renewable or sustainable development through these transitions that we are going to see. Here also we required academia and industry interactions, and this book is a first step towards this. I hope that we can bring much more interactions, much more innovations in all. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sudipto. We would like to have a meaningful interactive session for the next 10 minutes. May I request you to please, if you have any questions, make it concise, and if there are observations, make it short. Of course, there would be opportunity of more interactions going forward, but there is a paucity of time. So therefore, for the next 10 minutes, we would like to have an interaction with the audience. Please, and if you would kindly introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Professor Amitava Gupta. I'm Professor of Power Engineering at Jadavpur University and the Director of its School of Nuclear Studies and Applications. Well, see, I'll make it short. I believe that the industry-academia interaction, is a tussle between reality and relativity. In the sense, the industry always feels that the academia works in a relativistic time frame, and our view of their reality is magic. Okay, so I give you an example, small example. I was associated with a development of an electric vehicle. Okay, and ultimately what we ended up with is a Chinese motor coupled with a Chinese controller, which drains the battery every now and then. The project was a disaster. The research component was actually customizing the controller so that the battery doesn't drain out with the industry, with the Indian drive cycle. The industry was not ready to wait. So my question to you is that to work out a successful symbiosis, do you think that this impatience should be addressed? And similarly at our end also, we should do something meaningful. Okay? So how do you go about that? We can't work wonders, isn't it?
So my first response, my initial response, the impatience part is what you are focusing on. And expectations, managing expectations from either side. So there is, now we have to work towards it, but I agree with you, as Shantanu, I'm sure they will chip in as well. We have to let down our egos, and industry has to take, I feel from industry side, industry has to take the lead in this case. And we must try and see how best we can manage expectations and ensure that there is no impatience. So it is an evolving exercise. It will take time, but it should happen. Your views?
I would just add to that it is definitely time consuming, of course. It is the establishing a mutual understanding between industry and the academy is a process, and it's going to take time, and it is important to initiate it and follow it, and afterward I'm sure that it's going to contribute and work in the future, I guess.
Sure. No. Shantanu, Swati, would you like to add anything?
Well, I would just like to, I have been to a lot of fora where we discuss industry academia partnership, and we publish with both. And as academic or scientific publishers, we kind of stride both, paths. I would just like to say that there is always a middle path, and I have heard this, expectation of timelines issue multiple times. But well, there are ways in which it can be resolved, and that's what we should be working towards, because it is very important, specifically in the Indian scenario right now, where industry R&D also needs to be strengthened, that there is a strong industry academia partnership.
Next question. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think from the industry side, I should make a comment on this. Firstly, I have been associated with many such projects where we have done work with the university and even alone. First point, I would request you to consider impatience is not always a sin. Impatience could be a virtue also. There is a Secretary, Government of India, a gentleman who told me once that I have a simple theory. It's called inverse square theory. And the theory says the more patient you are, the more inefficient the administration will be, whatever the administration is. So patience is not necessarily a sin. But I think the main thing comes from there, that what Sati said, that there is always a balance. There is always a balance. Industry has to compromise about the time also. And well, if I may so suggest, the academia must quicken its pace, because it's not anybody's fault that they have not been really used to timelines. Industry is very much oriented towards timeline. The academia is not. But that doesn't stop both of us from coming halfway together and meet. I think that should be the perfect meet. That's one point. And the second point that I wanted to make, I have not read the book, and I'm sure $245 worth of book cannot be shown just like that. But it would possibly help if later on the chapters are mentioned and shown to the public in general, that this book, volume 1, volume 2 contains these following chapters. A. B is, if we can have a gathering, this is not the gathering, this cannot be the gathering because the book is yet just published. So if we can have a gathering where people have read that book, we want the generators, generating people, we want the transmission people, we want the distribution people, we want the energy utilization people, bulk consumers, and also others, but bulk consumers most certainly. Bulk generation, bulk transmission, bulk distribution, bulk consumption people in one room together. I think we'll get definitely very good feedback, very good advice to them how the second and the third could be improved. And finally, I must like to congratulate the whole team, particularly Sudipto and Santonu and others that you have done this. I'm sure it will help both the academia and the industry.
I would just like to add a little bit about the book here. For those of you who are present here, please get our contact details from the chamber and write to us. Until the end of March, we will offer you a 20% discount on the purchase price of the hard copy. Those of you who are interested in buying multiple copies, please contact me directly and we can discuss this. And if there is enough demand, we can even do a lower priced edition for the Indian subcontinent. So please do contact us for that.
Well, I just want to add. I just want to add on the same thing. I think, see, when the joint project is done, with the academia. I think if the objective of that project is clear and objective of the project is owned by both the party together, then possibly the time frame, I would say realistic from both the sides, and particularly because it is required to be worked out by the academia from your side, can be put up properly, where the industry can decide whether that timeline will be acceptable to them. See what happens to industry, the major requirement of developing a technology or improving a technology is to survive against competition. Now, if you are having the information regarding the competitive requirement and the competitors who are available globally, then it will be absolutely clear to you what timeline is realistic or will be realistic to the industry. You know, many a time you will say it is already working. If they come in, what am I going to develop now? From your side, you can give a reaction. Now, then this gap of expectation can be avoided. Yes, please.
Well, yes, Josh, please.
I would say that I'm Joyce Roy, coordinator of the Global Change Program from Dr. I'll just share one experience which might help the process. It was back in 1998 to 2003 when the Government of India and World Bank started the capacity building program in environmental economics. And I was the nodal person from Jadavpur University at that time. So what we did, and that has built the whole backbone of environmental economics research study program and everything in India today, what we see today, is because such books were published. And these books, chapters, became the training material for very short courses, maybe 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, like that. And then those books were much more in demand. And at that time, yeah, let me say, it was the Cambridge University Press with whom we were working. So what we did was, India-wide, each institution actually started environmental economics program teaching within their program. And so there was a demand for the books from the students, teachers, so huge, huge demand. They made it, the book at that time, I remember in 1997, I bought in the University of California, Berkeley the bookstore, was $82. I own that book, right? But we could make it in 5 years' time within India, the publication in the paperback form for 166 rupees. Each student, each teacher bought it, huge sale, simple economics, but I would say that this is doable. And if you can plan the industry institute partnership cell, first thing can be just the teaching, training program. And make this book as, and now with these 2 years of collaboration which will be going on, Mohsen can come, and whenever Mohsen is here or his colleagues are here, we can take advantage of that and do this training program. So that should be the way. I think it has proved, it is a proven model, so we can do that.
Thank you very much, Joshua. Thank you for sharing the experience. Yeah. And we feel happy that you would agree that we have taken the step in the right direction. So that's important, but it's a very good take, and I'm sure for Swati as well, you can consider, you know, bringing down the cost of the book. It'll be demand driven. Yes. It'll be demand driven, as you have said. And
we've done it for other products, and we can do it for this.
Excellent.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
2 more questions, please. Yes, please.
Can I? Oh, you.
Oh, okay. After that. Yes, please. Make it short, sir.
Myself, Amlan Chakraborty. I am from Narula Institute of Technology, one of the colleges under GIS group. So I teach electrical engineering, and I am also a member of the Energy and Environment Committee of Bengal Chambers. I think the problem lies in specifications. The needs of industry or the future direction of the industry. People need to spend some time in making the specifications. I remember about 1.5 years ago, Mr. Alok Mukherjee, he inaugurated the CII Innovation Center in our college. And through that, we got some specifications from Tata Group that some problems, some needs, although there are 1 or 2 line specifications, but the students, they started working on it, and it may not have, served the purposes of the industry, but it has resulted in 2 patents by the students. So now if these specifications we can spend some more time in specifying the direction, the needs, and what exactly is needed. So I think then this will help the teachers or the students to understand them and solve these problems in a meaningful way.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Very, very well taken. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. It has been nice listening to a lot of valuable information. I am Natarajan, ex-Tata Steel, and also happens to be adjunct faculty for some institutes in Kolkata. I would only like to invite the panel's members' views with regard to when this publication has been brought out, the resource availability priorities with respect to resource availability, number 1. Number 2, the priorities of technologies. In India is a very big country with mixed technologies available, their priorities for industries and their consensus, and also the proximity with respect to the Government of India's energy policy. I think, I presume some efforts must have been made. Briefly, somebody can touch upon it. Thank you.
I'd like to say a little bit.
Make it very brief, sir.
Very quick. And I'm ex-faculty IIT Kharagpur, and now I'm visiting Professor of Institute of Genetic Engineering. My name is Professor Nitosh Kumar Brahma. I have a very specific question. Sustainable, if I understand, I must have to also understand the biological world, because everything should be incorporated with the process technology development, and how far we are concerned about that to introduce these chapters of the microbial world, biomining, mining world, and so to introduce. Whether you are also thinking in that way to attract the book to all different types of faculties, like biological groups, like engineering groups, like what you can say science groups. That is the specific question, how far we are very much concerned about the sustainable and the policies together to combine, including the biological world. Because the biological world is a very, very important.
Yeah, the first part is, as we have mentioned, the priority. Yeah, we have to fix up the priority, and some of the India's specific priorities, as Dr. Manna has also mentioned, the energy conservations chapters are there on that. Coal, we cannot deny. There is a full chapter, though from UK, and one is from India also, with respect to the future of this fossil fuel-based systems. Overall review and overview has been made in this book. So if you go through those chapters, one is from Sheffield, University of Sheffield, and Mohammad Parkushanian is one of the very leading personality in this particular field. He has contributed that chapter in the future possibility of using fossil fuels in a sustainable way. So we have the India-specific priority. We have the coal sector management is a very important issue. No one than, Mr. Partho Bhattacharya can speak on that from Indian perspective. He is kind enough to contribute one chapter on that. So this is a very right point Mr. Alok Mukherjee has mentioned, that the content should have been there. It's my mistake, I admit. With the program schedule, I should have given the full content printout so that the people can have the idea who are contributing and what are the contributed chapters. It is my mistake, I am admitting fully. So I'll just try to make it possible, at least website of the Bengal Chamber, we can float the content. There is no problem in it.
Yes,
okay?
I think that's a valid
point. We can do that from Chamber.
Yeah.
And another question was with respect to the biological. Biology means obviously there are two issues. The biomass-based systems are undoubtedly unavoidable. So the biomass-based contributions, I mean, regarding the assessment, I myself as a chapter on distributed biomass generation, I believe that that will be one of the possible future of Indian context. So there are contributed chapters from the biological aspects also. So the same reason, if we had have given the content, you could have been much more confident. But I'm telling that it's not exhaustive. We are proceeding, and your suggestions will help us to make decide about the next volume contribution.
Thank you. If you don't mind, we need to bring this session to a close because we are running really late. So may I now request Mr. Indrajit Sen, our President-designate, to do the honors and give the mementos to our editors. To Swati. To Shantanu, please. To Mohsen. Sorry.
I will conclude.
And to Shadip, please. Of course, of course. Thank you very much. May I now request Mr. Alok Mukherjee, Dada, please, to take over the next session. Very quick changeover. Thank you.
Requesting all to please take your seats. We are about to commence our panel discussion. I would like to take the privilege of inviting our esteemed speakers on stage. Mr. Alok Mukherjee, past President, the Bengal Chamber. Mr. Indrajit Sen, Managing Director, International Global Combustion Limited, who is also our President-designate of the Bengal Chamber. We would also like to invite on stage Shri P.S. Bhattacharya, former Chairman, Coal India Limited, and Dr. Mohsen Asadi, Professor, Faculty of Science and Technology, University of Stavanger. Humble request to all, please be seated.
Well, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We start this session, possibly the last session before lunch. So it's always a difficult challenge, but I'm sure my panel speakers will be able to overcome that. You know, it was Bob Dylan who first sang, "Times are changing." I have been in this for the last 40, 45 years or something like that. And we have been discussing in the academia-industry interaction for that 4 or 5 decades. But I must say, I see a change. I see a change when it is discussed now compared to even 10 years earlier or whatever. We are seeing that today there is a realization has come that it is not a collaboration only for training the people. That is important, very important. But not only for that. I think it will be that day when projects will be totally implemented together by academia and industry. That will be the day when we can say that it has come to fruition. Our effort of having a roadmap and have trying to make in both industry and academia collaborative has come to fruition only after that. So that this is something that has not happened, but I am sure that it might not happen in our generation, but it will certainly happen later on. Another very important point to remember is that the science and technology has given mankind a tremendous power, and what is more dangerous, access to even more power. Now, unfortunately, this has been accused of not being equitable, and it's not distributed properly, and it is not really focusing the needs of the country, the needs of the nation. And I think for that is one reason where we have to do this jointly. We cannot, neither industry nor academia are able to do it individually. And the second, the point was raised some time back, after globalization, competitiveness is the key. And again, for the sake of competitiveness, it is a must. It is a must that we do these things jointly. Either we do that, or both of us will be forced to back foot for in each of our own areas of action, whether it is industry or whether it is academia. Now, after that, the most important thing now that we are roughly about 35 minutes late in starting. So what I suggest, what we'll do, Professor Sadi has a very small, he comes from a place which was very, very, one of my favorite places in Norway, is Stavanger. He will make a presentation, short presentation, 5-7 minutes, he said. And after that, Mr. Partha Bhattacharya will speak for 5 minutes, and then we will throw it to open completely. So after 5-7 minutes, I don't know whether you want to say something? Okay, all right, because he himself also suggested that we take that route. So after that, if probably I'll ask some question to start to make this thing a whole churn the pot a little bit, and then it will be open for as long as I see the red eyes of the organizer that I must close the session. We can continue up to that time. Thank you very much for being here once more again, and I'm sure it will be a very interesting session. So I'll now ask Professor Mosadi to make his presentation.
So, back again to the same topic as previous discussion, which is actually collaboration between academia and industry. In this specific forum is the energy system in transition, which has been in focus. What I'm going to use actually for this presentation is just a couple of bullet points, which is the importance of close collaboration between academia and industry, some models which has been used in Europe or in European countries and organizations, and of course the collaboration between India and Norway, which has been initiated thanks to this ongoing, let's say, project. So starting with the importance of the close collaboration, of course it's in the, I mentioned it earlier, that one of the major contribution of the universities and academy is training new generation of people who are gonna take over and contribute to the development of the country. That is for sure one very important element of the role of the universities. The second one is actually to identify the issues and problems and needs which are there and try to collaborate and address those in a way that the resources and the research work carried out at the university materialize in terms of solving problems in the real world and contributing to the further development of the industry and also prosperity of the country as such. To do that, there are different models have been, let's say, carried out and tested at different sites and different places, and some of them have been successful, some not. For instance, in the Norwegian context, there is a certain pot of money for supporting R&D activities, and what they have been doing is that they allocated less than 20% of that to research projects, which means that the individual researchers which has certain idea for developing something new, they can get support for their activities through this 20% of the money. The rest is split in a way that the industry has to contribute with 20% and the government with 80% in certain type of projects. And in that kind of projects, the academy is the lead of the project, but they are guaranteeing kind of interaction between industry and the academy through the 20% financing, usually by cash in that case. And the second half or part of this pot is allocated in a way that 50% financing comes from industry and 50% from the government, and in those projects the industry are the lead. So different kind of instruments are put in place so that specific targeted areas important for industry are actually, let's say, identified, and in certain well-defined projects they are trying to solve those issues along the way. Of course, the research projects which is more focused on developing basic knowledge, basic methods, technologies, etc., they are also supported, but not at that level of funding that is available for the industrial collaboration. So maybe not exactly that model as such, but a kind of model which takes some advantage of experiences made in different countries could be useful to develop an Indian version of this kind of collaboration between academia and industry. Another type of projects, which one of those is ongoing right now, which is Marie Curie financing schemes from EU, is requiring that the PhD students who are financed through this program, they have to spend between 3 to 6 months at industry so that their research is immediately involved with the industry. This is a requirement, else they are not providing the support. So the industry doesn't need to pay anything. They just provide the training opportunity for these PhD students. And the PhD students' research work is in a way targeting the issues and the future problems of the industry. And in that way, they get two advantages. One is, of course, working and, let's say, doing research towards a real problem in one end, and the second one is the let's say, establishing understanding and collaboration between that individual and the company, so that if it works well, so the company can employ those guys and continue working on those topics. So finally, when it comes to the Indo-Norwegian collaboration, so we have tried to establish this multidisciplinary collaboration, which is actually easy to say and difficult to implement, because it is always in that way that when mechanical engineers talk to each other, of course they understand each other, they know what they are talking about. The same for the chemical, I don't know, electrical, for the social science, etc. But sitting all of those people around the same table and try to address the future problems, which are definitely different from what has been before through this transition period towards another energy system, that requires a real contribution from all parties to try to communicate and understand each other and try to take advantage of the synergies between different groups' knowledge and capabilities, so that we really in an efficient way address the problems which all nations are facing in the future. So by that, I think that I'm gonna stop my talk about that so that we save some time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We will come back to you again when you start. Now I request Partha Bhattacharya to say a few words on the whole subject of sustainability and particularly industry-academia interaction.
Thank you, Alokda. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I must congratulate the team which has put up this excellent edition of book on sustainability. Professor Sudipto Dey and others, the two universities, it has become an international publication with the assistance of Springer. At the same time, I completely echo the sentiment expressed by Professor Jayasri Rai that it needs to be made much more affordable so that people can access it. And while I find that in the book there are views of people from industry that has been captured, but I suggest that you can make it a little more aggressive, have industry participation in making the book more affordable. I think that is where industry can come in. So leaving that thought, you see, basically this industry-academia interface, as Alokda rightly said, has been heard. This is a sentence, this is a topic that we have been talking about for the last couple of decades. But when I hear Professor Ajay Rai in what he said in the last session, things are not really moving to the extent it should have moved. I wonder why, because primarily industry is manned by academics. Output from the academic institutes, they come to the industry. So there is a natural, seamless kind of a resource provision from institutes to from institutes to industry. But do we really try to find out that when these people, the youngsters, they join in a company like as a management trainee or a executive trainee engineering or whatever it is, after 5 years, or after 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, when they encounter a problem, a real situation in the industry, do they go back to their alumni or to their university, to their alma mater for a solution to this? And if they don't, why they don't? Because that is the place from where they have learned everything, which they are trying to apply here. If there is a problem in application, is that not the natural place where they should go back? We don't come across such instances too many. In the industry, when we talk to the people, because I come from an industry which is basically a mining industry, and there are only 5 or 6 institutes in this country from where 90% of the mining engineers come, including in Indian School of Mines. But I've never seen them talking about going back to ISM to get to the root of a problem that they're encountering in the mining operations. So why is it so? I think this is a question that jointly needs to be pondered over. And maybe a good idea could be that people from academia who have done well in the industry, they should be inducted back into the academia to share their experiences and to sort of create some brainstorming sessions so that people in academia can really look at real life problems. Because I think that is what is lacking. I'll just leave an instance where I found a very interesting sort of collaboration between industry and academia, and a very successful collaboration. I'll just illustrate this just to talk about a particular model. This is a university called Newcastle University in UK, where there is a department which looks into air pollution and environmental issues and things like that. So we were their natural partner. IIT Delhi happens to be partnering with that particular institute, but that university. And being a mining company, we thought that let us try to get the best out of this association between IIT Delhi and Newcastle University. I personally visited that institute as chairman of Coal India. And what I found was something very, very wonderful, in the sense that as part of the program, they made us visit a mine. There was an open cast mine, and the mine was named Delhi Open Cast Mine. That open cast mine produces about 2 million tons of coal with about 4-5 million cubic meters of overburden. But the main problem is the mine is surrounded by all kind of eco-sensitive industries, like pharmaceutical industry and things like that, which cannot handle dust. Dust is terrible for them. So the mine had a responsibility of running in a sustainable manner, in a very sustainable manner, and the university was actually helping them to do that. So this was a complete change of thought where they made changes in the basic equipment. The excavator, which actually goes into mining, all the excavators were having water tanks. We have not seen excavators with water tanks on the top with pipes flowing in. The moment the excavator operates, there is a stream of, a water jet that settles the dust straight away there at the point of generation. There was an industry which couldn't take into account sound pollution. So every dumper, that normally creates a lot of sound, every dumper was fitted with a 12-inch buffer which absorbed the sound. So it's a soundless, dustless mining operation going on. 2 million tons of coal produced. Excellent, absolutely wonderful. The next step that we took from there was, this is not for a university or the mine operators to make changes in the equipment. The equipment manufacturer should do this. So we took up with the equipment manufacturers very strongly at Las Vegas when there is a huge mining exhibition. We have been, actually when I came back, I just refused to issue the tender document for the next procurement till they do these changes. They did something, but not to my satisfaction. So I think this interaction also has to go on. The academia, the operational people, the equipment manufacturers, all must try to join hands to make things more sustainable. I think this is just, I leave it at that. I have been given 5 minutes. I think 6 minutes are over. Thank you very much. Then we'll go into discussion.
Thank you very much. You would like to say a few words, Indrajit?
Just
either from there. Yeah.
I can speak from here. This is a subject of great importance. Actually, it's a subject of great importance, this academia and industry cooperation. Having said this, industry surely looks at long-term commercialization. That is where the industry looks. And the strength, they have all, academia has relative strength. Academia has multifaceted facilities, research, facilities like material sciences, electrical, electronics, mechanical, environmental. This is, no industry truly can have such huge depth of knowledge resourced from in-house. And this is where academia comes in. What academia cannot do is, once a concept is developed, to convert it into commercial and to make it real-time useful in general. This is something that industry can do, because the industry has the capability, their skill set lies in converting innovative ideas into commercial realities. But we have, I think, I've been listening this morning and I'm thinking, we have not addressed one small point. Small point is, what is government's policy towards this? When we were talking about sustainable energy, all of you are aware that solar has been there for a long time, possibly last 15, 20 years. But why is such a major changes has taken place in the last 5 years? Because government policies have shifted towards this sustainable, non-conventional energy. So this is the route from where it starts. What is the policy? Then industry looks at it, academia also looks at it, because they initiate their own researches, and industry also looks at it, and industry really addresses and tells academia, please, okay, we partner with you, and you develop it for us. This is very standard model which has been happening all over the world, I believe, especially in the United States. But it has not happened so much in this country. But having said this and being from industry, I have to also say that we must be careful about frog and the kiss theory, which means that every frog you kiss does not become a prince, it can still remain a frog. So industry must accept this reality that every initiative that industry wants academia to support will not come out to be a real prince. This, as long as this is accepted, this is going to go a long way. And the last one, of course, has been stated. I would feel that a very strong need, because there are two different wings. So staff exchange, let academia come and work with industry. Let industry specialists go and teach in the universities and colleges. Maybe the staff exchange will go a long way in bringing this bridge and making this bridge possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Indranjit. Okay, see what I have done so far in about 23-4 minutes. I have made all these eminent speakers finish their saying. So I'll come back to you. And I was thinking that I would probably use my chairman's prerogative to ask the first few questions, but I will drop that right now and see how things goes. Yes, Professor Sinha, and after that you. Yeah. Professor Sinha, can you get a mic, please, quickly? Yes, I'll come back to you.
I must congratulate the authors, particularly Sudipta happens to be my old student at Jadavpur University. We would like to, we can hark back to some of other activities of this kind. And we also need now, there's a greater need now to harp on this kind of, to build up some kind of camaraderie and also co-autism between the industrial community and the academic community. Therefore, there's a huge number of elements come up nowadays. Huge number of topics have come up nowadays. Shouldn't we, first of all, identify some of them and pick up some of them? Not the pressing, but certainly the pressing ones, but some of them, the unifying elements. What are the issues? What are the elements that unify, that can bring about that cohortism and, as I say, the camaraderie also between these two communities? If you can do so, then possibly I would like to suggest one of the areas which I had shared with both Sudipta and Shantanu Bandyopadhyay, the cognitive temper, the cognitive aspects of which are fast coming up, and the associational cognitism. That kind of thing should find place somewhere, may not be, I'm not sure, I've not gone through the text, but I think that should be given one of the areas, an unifying area to bring about the so-called community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm sure Sudipta and Shantanu will take note of this most important suggestion. Yes, just please tell your name and organization and very brief question, please.
Yes.
You can speak sitting down if you like, whatever you are comfortable.
I am Shubhra Sen Sharma. My question is very simple, because while talking about the sustainable energy technologies, there are other standards and benchmarks and policies by Bureau of Energy Efficiencies. There are PAT scheme, perform, achieve and trade. There are energy management system. There are so many. So what would be the common platform that we will start as a baseline?
Sudipta,
various industry, various sectors.
Sudipta, you would like to one line answer?
This is the beginning of developing that platform. Why don't you suggest different options? Because we are thinking that it is needed. And then solution should not come from one particular person's head. So I think the chamber is the best platform to communicate different ideas, and here we can synthesize. This can be the beginning. We can have subsequent meetings with those people who will give real inputs, and we can discuss on that.
Right.
So I should not comment on that something will evolve right now. You give your suggestions, we can compile, and chamber has got a good platform to do that.
No, as I said, you have, that's quite right. As I said earlier, that we'll have to do something more than just this conference. We'll have to get people together who has read the book, know about the book and know about the subject, where they can make a comment on feedback. This has been very good, this has not been so good. Next edition, please change this or please do this, whatever. Jayashree. give her a mic, please. No, it's all right. You don't have to shout.
What I wanted to say is that can we take one resolution? Since morning we are hearing how to take a resolution. One concrete resolution that each month, Jadavpur University from Global Change Program, we can commit. We can host an industry speaker on his industries, how it works, and we will gather around him or her to listen. And we will reciprocate from academia point of view. We will go to the industry and we'll stand in the industry floor, talk to the people who are engaged in different parts to say what is new knowledge which is coming, which needs to be internalized for the industry to stay competitive in the coming decades. Because academia gets that vibe, because that's our job. So that what is coming in next 30 years, where we should be moving, and then industry is to implement it. So listening to industry will tell us where the industry is now, and we have a vision that where we need to go, and then we can both together bring in the policymaker on the table to take it forward further.
Okay.
If we can take one such pledge, and which does not involve any money, why should we think that we should have a big lunch?
Right.
So
Right.
1 hour lecture.
Yeah,
If we are thirsty for knowledge, money is never a barrier. We offer you the platform, you can come and speak out. We will give you audience, dedicated audience, and from which we can come out with something. We tried this, we are successful in that. We have tried many things
Yeah,
in Jadavpur
right.
successfully, and we can take this up again.
Thank you very much.
From next month.
Thank you very much. I think this is a very good suggestion. Just a minute, please. Just a minute. I think I am only a poor. Yes, just let me finish, please. Wait a minute. We have speakers. I'll come back to you. Just wait. I am only a poor past president of this chamber. Next to me is a person who is the president-elect. So I would request Indrajit to take it up very seriously together with them, that we arrange for this not only, first start with Jadavpur. The frequency you can decide, maybe every month or every quarter one, whatever it is. And I would suggest exactly the same thing, the speaker from industry and a speaker from, or the next one will speaker from the academia, university. I think this will be one quite small but very significant step in the whole thing that we are talking about here. It will be a very significant step in doing this. In fact, I was waiting for, towards the end of the seminar, I would come out with a little more suggestion about what we should do, but that we'll keep it for the time being. There was a gentleman here. Yeah. Can he get a mic, please?
Sir, my name is P.K. Bhattacharya. I was formerly director of the NITTTR Ministry of HRD, Government of India. And I was part of the team originally with MHRD for industry-academy interaction about a decade back. Now, one particular aspect I find that it was there, but it is not yet discussed, is the benefit skill upgradation of the faculty, competency upgradation of the faculty with the industries. Now, it is my experience during last 30 years that whenever we try to apply this, there is certain amount of reluctance among the industries to share the competencies required in their production system. So this is one area I would like to take BCCI to take certain steps to the sharing of the competencies so that a particular young faculty, as you know, it is very difficult nowadays to get very good faculty. So this particular area, I request BCCI to take into consideration.
Thank you very much. I'm sure it will be taken, and I'll comment on this on behalf of the panel. I'll comment on this when we close this particular session. Yes, please.
I have only a minute's observation, Natarajan again from Tata Steel. I can tell you there is one committee, an interactive committee between National Metallurgical Laboratory and Tata Steel, And I used to coordinate also part of this activities on behalf of our MD, Dr. Irani then. And this has been there for last 35 years or so. And there are members from various industries, eminent industries, and professors from IIT Kharagpur, NITs, etc., to be the member. And even TESCO, when it's to pick up R&D products, etc., they used to consult with regard to product development and all that. And also, Enamel ventured upon some studies on simulation of the longevity of critical equipment studies, or studies with regard to corrosions, use of slags, or etc., etc. They work very well. And one second point, yesterday I observed in the Doordarshan news with regard to a South Korean groups, how the heaps of mountains of the waste have been developed into a tourist attractions, which we are often talking about, converting into compost and vegetations and so on. And it was very nice, and when they have shown it, it has become a now tourist attraction. And we have done something in our own near Science City, that jewelers, this thing and so on. I think that can be extended. I think Final can make note of it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm coming back to you. I would just like to mention to everybody here that Tatas have opened new avenues for innovation actually. And we have taken that advantage of that. They have had a website with an open innovation challenge to the community, that these are our problems. We have no time to solve them. Can you solve? Any one of you. And I'm very glad to say that we recently from CI organized seminar, and Tatas have adopted 2 of these new innovations, adopted themselves and have taken responsibility of funding them from now onwards to make it a commercial success. Yes, please. Here. Oh, acha, okay. I'll come back to you. Yes, please.
My name is Anirban Guha. I am former scientist of, senior scientist of Bhabha Atomic Research Center, additional director CDAC, and I was associated with Jadavpur University in setting up the School of Mobile Computing and the first center of excellence under UGC. At present, I'm a senior consultant, and the points I'd like to make, we have been hearing our distinguished speakers talking about ego from, this is about Industry Institute Alliance I'm talking. The industry people were having ego or whatever, and the academicians also were having this type of feeling, and they are not coming together. Since last 30 decades, as Professor Roger Rai also said, we are only talking IIPC and only for talking sake only. So I personally feel Professor Joyashree Roy from Jadavpur suggested a very good thing, that there should be a time bound, one in a fortnight or once in a month, there should be some talks, etc. But my point is little different from that. There should be strong brainstorming sessions. In a particular talk, you come and devote time and go on talking yourself, and the question and answer session is very less, and we leave. But there should be brainstorming sessions, and it should be minuted and then continue to the second one.
Right, I agree with you totally. That is the major problem of the conferences. But this sort of thing must not be like that. It must be something different, yes.
Okay, so this time I speak as the man in the scarlet, as the director of the School of Nuclear Studies and Applications. And though it might seem to be very unnatural, but I represent a technology which is the greenest of all. And I find that that technology is being overlooked. And in a country like ours, we really cannot overlook the nuclear option, and more so, the nuclear bridge between the renewables. For example, high temperature hydrogen generation using the nuclear energy, which is a big way. So I would request the editors to consider this part, and particularly the nuclear energy, its associated technologies, and its transformation to aid the renewables for the further additions, which I believe is very important.
I think that is quite reasonable. I'm sure the editors and the writers will take cognizance of this. In fact, there are many ways that the real renewable can come, and that can be included. Anybody else? I have a question now. I think I can come back. I have first question to Partha Bhattacharya. You know, I remember a long time ago, maybe 10 years or before, I attended a seminar in Brussels. It was about power from clean coal. So one of the speakers went up and said, I refuse to speak on this forum because I don't believe anything can be good, anything can be clean from a thing like coal, because coal is a dirty thing. Whatever you can say, there cannot be anything clean coming out of a dirty thing. That was his point. Things have changed completely. But I would like to have your opinion on where the society is and where we are going, because we know very well India and China is continuing to use coal and will continue to do so.
Well, one has to agree that coal is a commodity which is black in color, and if you touch that commodity, your hands become black. There is no doubt about that. But at the same time, coal is a commodity which provides you energy at $2 per MMBTU. And that is not the price at which any other source you can get energy. So that is the moot point. Now, as a result, in a country like ours, where the per capita power consumption is one of the lowest in the world, just about 1,000, as compared to 3,000 in China, and 25 to 30% population not covered by electricity, I think affordability is the key, is one of the key concerns. Green is fine. We have to be as green as possible, keeping affordability at the center stage of policy making. If we do that, we can't avoid coal. That is one. Second, there are some options coming up. As far as clean coal is concerned, yes, coal is cleaned by washing. If you wash, you are going to, particularly Indian coal, because of the fact that most of the coal was formed through a drift process, they have embedded impurities. And therefore, the washability characteristics are not that good. You can at best reduce the ash from something like 40% to 36%, 35% or 34%. And that's all. So washing doesn't make it clean to that extent. But clean energy we talk about when we talk about underground coal gasification and things like that, where again, there are challenges, there are technological challenges. We don't know for sure that underground coal gasification will not spoil the aquifers, will not lead to groundwater contamination. We are not sure about that. So there are risks, there are challenges. One aspect which is coming up in a very nascent manner, which was talked about by the IIT professor last session, is the microbial way of taking energy out of coal. Because the methane formation happens through a process which can be accelerated few thousand times by injecting proper microbes. And if coal is converted to methane and the methane is taken out, that is possibly one of the clean manner in which it can be done. And it could be very, very cost effective, provided we have the technology of creating that microbe. I am told that in Berkeley University there is some research going on. We have just been talking, in fact, Coal India is right now in a dialogue with our TCG Life Sciences for some such project where an estimated amount is possibly being sanctioned. But this is the future, and the result of that may not come within a decade's time. Till such time, you have to bear with coal, and that's for sure.
So the last line is the key. We have to bear with coal. Yes?
So I'd like to add with that comment, what you have said, the coal with the microbial process to enhance the credibility, to increase the methanation process. Right? Yeah. And it is the same way you can also go to biomining, because these type of microbes are existent in a very acidic and a quasi-acidic environment, which performs the mine extractions of copper, gold, etc., at the same time, or more efficient way to proceed with the, what I can say, your gasification process.
Yeah.
And that is the challenge that we have to implement to all universities to proceed with the acidophilic environments of the microbiome.
Right, right. Thank you. Professor Asadi, I have I'm coming back to you. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's that affordability which is keeping coal still going on, but so far I understand, I can say confidently that in next 7 to 10 years, this is not going to be the case because of the carbon price, which is definitely going to come due to the social cost. And that is, it's in that direction, definitely. So, I mean, one good thing, what he has already said, is one kind of research. So, doesn't matter even if it comes after 20 years, but that is the vision we should be talking when we are talking about sustainable energy. So, for 20 years, we know how to grapple with this, but then after 20 years, are we ready? And for that, we have to do our investment and research today. So that's very important. And the second thing is that maybe what also can be done right now, I mean, it's possible, but we have not started in India at all, is the carbon capture and storage or carbon capture and utilization. So CCU is the word. So Coal India can think in terms of the carbon capture and use. And as an economist, what I just think is that it's not that we don't have money, because this is going to be the societal benefit. For that, we have the National Clean Energy Fund, which is going from the coal cess. And crores of rupees is built up there. Yeah. Thousands of crores. And the globally discussion is that such money should be plowed back to the sector who is contributing to this. It's the coal sector who is, without coal sector, this money would not have been there. So it should come back to coal, to the coal sector. And by India government's cess definition, the way the fiscal policy is designed, cess should come back to the sector itself. So Coal India should actually legally vouch for getting the whole money for cleaning up the coal sector and to stay on the business with its full employment.
Thank you very much. But unfortunately, in our country, what should happen doesn't happen. Exactly the same thing is not coal only. Water also, you know it very well. Water has the same problem. It is not going back to the sector which it produces. So, yes, consular fund, and they're spent anywhere where is a priority. Anyway, yeah, okay, all right, but okay, we can always try. Yes, my question was that to the best of my knowledge, I don't know whether as a Norwegian you might not agree to this, Sweden used to be the big brother in Scandinavia, even probably in Nordic countries, including but that was before oil was discovered in North Sea, and then it changed everything. So after oil came, in Norway, which is sustainably, environmentally one of the most conscious countries in the world probably, including Sweden and Denmark partially, what do you think has changed this oil, after oil discovery, what has changed the sustainability position, the economy of this country?
That was a very good question. Actually, can we talk about that for a long period of time, but I'm going to give a very short version of that. Yes. To start with, first of all, is that the Norwegian power electricity is actually generated 98% by hydropower. So given that they are already on the, let's say, sustainable and clean energy and renewable energy side. The second thing is that the CO2 emission from Norwegian sector is mostly from transport sector, and that is now electrification of the cars, which has been the country which has the highest number of electric car per capita in the world. So those are the, let's say, Norwegians don't need the fuel or the oil and gas for their power and energy sector. They have been creating value by selling, exporting that, and they say that they are producing the oil and gas in a very, let's say, environmental friendly manner compared to all other productions in the world. So in a way, what they are doing, they are exporting that fuel in one end to create resources for the coming generation to take advantage of that, and they have, I don't know how many billions in the bank now, which is put there for the coming generations. And the second thing is that they are supporting the CCS, CCU in a way that they say that if they are going to continue to export that fuel, then they have also to develop the, let's say, technologies that can provide solutions for the carbon capture. And because of that, they have been putting a lot of efforts and money into CCS. CCS was out for a while, but now it is big time again for CCS. I don't know exactly which reason is behind that, but EU as well as Norwegian government has put a lot of efforts and earmarked funds for CCS, CCU development, which is coming in the next program of the energy program of EU.
Thank you very much. Only thing I will differ with both you and Joyashree, that I believe that air is something like genie in the bottle. In the bottle, as long as it is fine. If you let it out, very difficult to catch it. CCS is one such thing. Even today, with all the technological development, it's an extremely expensive method. You said the money is available in the clean fund, which probably should be available, but may not be really in reality available. But the whole point is that once it goes out, its capture and storage becomes very difficult. It's not impossible. Most certainly it's possible. But a country like us has second thoughts always on something which is more expensive. Any other last question, anybody? Anybody wish to? Yes, last question. Can you get the mic, please?
My name is Dev Goswami, and here I am on behalf of CMMI Kolkata. Okay, let me welcome Professor Asadi. Välkommen till Professor Asadi. We have talked about merging industry and academia for quite a long time, but the third aspect we have not talked about is the administrative roles, the roles of administrative bodies. The academia can invent something and the business can design something, but to bring it to reality, we need the government bodies. So how BCCI is looking at it to bring the government authorities also into these discussions?
Well, I remember one saying of Eisenhower when he was in the US government, of course. Sorry, he's not Eisenhower. His name is wrong. But one of the last foreign secretary government of US, he has said once that please don't come to the government with your problem, because the government is the problem. So I think here we are not talking so much of the government as we are talking about the industry body, which includes government, includes private, includes everybody. So you are absolutely right in saying that the administration is a big problem. Of course it will be a problem, because it is done by bureaucrats. Bureaucrats are not really, well, neither in academia, nor in industry. They are halfway in between. Their job is bureaucracy. So many bureaucrats are excellent administrators, but opposite is also true. So therefore it is always very difficult to handle the administrator. But I think in such cases, which we have been talking about, I think the best thing will be to bypass bureaucracy. If we can do it between a university, which is supposed to be an autonomous body all the time, together with an industry which is autonomous, even Maharatnas like his last company, Maharatnas are also autonomous, totally almost. Up to a limit they are autonomous, and private sector industry is of course autonomous, within the limits. Everybody has limit. President Obama and Trump, unfortunately Trump also has limits. So they all have limits. Therefore, within limits, the best thing is to get it done bypassing bureaucracy. That's my only comment. You want to make any comment on this?
No, I think you're right.
Right. So, right. Thank you. So I will close this session now. There's no other question it seems. I'll close the session because I am seeing angry eyes from the organizers. I have 1 or 2 points to close it. Number one, somebody said that during the session, somebody said there has been a lot of work done in the last few decades. No doubt about that. But apparently it has not created much of impact. And the reason possibly is that none were under a pressure, neither industry, not academia. If you are put under pressure, impacts are bound to be there. So I think in this book also, I think Partho made a very important point, put it more aggressively. We understand aggression better than any other nation, I think. Under aggression, we act like the best country in the world. So I think that is the reason that it has not worked. Second point is that I think the major impediment is the attitude. Technology, even bureaucracy, even administration could be overcome. But what takes a lot of time is the attitude. Maybe the old ivory towers has broken down into pieces, but there are still concrete towers. Some of us are living there. Some of us from industry, some of the academia is living there. So I think for the good of everybody, you have to shed this. We have to shed our ego to join hands to do work. It is not enough, as I said, just for training, but we must implement things. We must jointly do things on the field and see that it is done, and then take credit, take glory for it, that this joint collaboration has achieved this. Only then we'll be able to say this. And I would strongly recommend that you must do something about it, that as Ajay Rai also suggested, that make a task force. I won't use the word committee because that's a cursed word. Nothing happens after a committee has gone through it. Make a task force or something from Bengal Chamber. Their job will be partly to do what Jayashree suggested, and also that gentleman suggested that they will also find out what the projects to take. Just choose out of all that is available. New things, new methods, new ways of biotechnology or whatever, and the new processes, whatever. Then you jointly work on that. And then with that task force, you can easily achieve this monthly or quarterly or whatever meeting. I think that will go a long way in creating this, the joint execution of the project. And they get each other's exposure also. Today's problem has come up, industry not having enough exposure, academia not having enough exposure of the opposite side. So this will reduce it to quite a large extent. And I think all of us have to learn that in all such collaboration, there are things called getting in, getting on, and getting out. Either you perform and get something, and if you see it's impossible, just get out of the project and go to a new one. And finally, I think human minds are like parachutes. Both of them work only when they're open, otherwise it doesn't work.
Actually what you said, after that one should normally close it. But because of your one particular sentence, I thought that I will try to give an illustration how it works. You mentioned about attitude. And there is an attitudinal problem, I think, everywhere, both in industry and academia. And one good example where we had to make it's a Coal India example, where we had to make a change to get to where we wanted to go, was leaving academia. I'll tell you the problem. The problem is, everybody knows that huge quantity of coal is available in pillars, particularly in the eastern part of the country, and that runs into billions of tons. And we don't have a particular technology to take it out. Now, this is a very known problem. So, when I became chairman, I first thought that this is one thing I should try and attack. And I actually invited Indian School of Mines, IIT Kharagpur Mining Department, B College, everyone, to try find out what could be a solution. We were ready to spend any amount of money to get there, because it would unlock so much of coal. Ultimately, nothing much happened. What happened ultimately was, I became chairman of Research Council for CIMFAR, the Central Institute of Mining and Fuel Research. And there I started goading the people that you have to basically find out a material. It's a problem of material science. You have to find out a material which will be much lower in cost as compared to the value of the coal block that you take out, but you should be able to support the roof. That's all that you need to do. And repeated goading resulted in a situation where 3 institutes came together. CIMFAR is one, CMERI is the second, and CBRI is the third, Roorkee. They
came together, took a 3-year project, and I am really happy to say that they have now come very close to a solution. They're trying to now do a commercialization of the whole process. They have come out with some material. But this was there for the universities to grab and take it forward.
Reaching out in communication, gap has to be bridged.
Right, right. Thank you very much, all of you, for your patience, waiting for lunch all the time. And thank my co-panelists. They have splendidly explained what all the points and all their points are being. Thank you very much. And I think we should have something after this, not just, this should not be the end of the conference. It should be the beginning of something else. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you, sirs, for a wonderful panel discussion. I hope we all agree. We would request our past president, Mr. Alok Mukherjee, to present a token of appreciation to Shri P.S. Bhattacharya. Thank you all. Please come with us and have lunch on the 3rd floor. We invite you all. Thank you.